बैग्स कपड़े
for that. Not necessarily dropped off sight, but nobody is a very confident player. And we're going to see this version of EDG's trap being run on their eco.
Trouble is Kankanger's going to be falling prey at second. Glides his way forwards to a nice little win, and he's covered over the shoulder once more by Tens. Spraying away. It matters not about that paranoia. Smoggy, they know he's playing somewhere nearby. It's all about clearing them out. They've got that diligence, TP up and over. Certainty for Smoggy. Just the one before he's dropped.
All of the coordination working really brilliantly there for Sen. That additional pause that Zekken throws into things just to allow Tens on top of the box.
Go Tens!
They've been doing a lot of that. In a 4v1, Shishu once again finds himself in a spot that's simply unwinnable. 9 HP.
Chichu.
Listen, it's a nice shot on the Sassy. With Sentinels now taking the lead. By the one round, it looks like they've regained a little bit of that composure just from losing some of the prior rounds, but it's Sen kind of running away with it.
And they've also now experienced that A-lobby delayed crunch, but it was on an eco, which was easier for them to deal with. These players swinging in from EDG did not have big rifles to be able to take the fight to them on an even basis. And so that should actually help Sen in the future figure out, okay, we had an idea of how to deal with it. Did it work? Do we need to make adjustments if there's going to be rifles up in the future? They did look pretty set on that, though. The stun coming out over towards A-Long was nice. It wasn't right at the beginning of the round. Both teams feeling each other out very well. But Sen coming on top and EDG take attack timeout. Yeah. It seems like a good time for it. You just lost 3 in a row back into a big rifle.
Summing up, I mean, there's plenty of ultimates sitting. Simon's got his Rolling Thunder, nobody. The Hunter's Fury, you can definitely cook, try and make something happen. Proactivity maybe on your defense.
one of the areas that I'd like to see EDG explore is trying to create mid-pressure and make it very difficult for Sentinels to just walk into grass anytime they like. If you can do that, you're more likely to burn the drone out of Sassy, which means it's much more difficult for you to retake over towards A. There's a huge amount of benefits to trying to put some early mid-pressure as the defenders. Something that I think Fnatic do fantastically on this map. One of the reasons why they're probably the most dangerous team in the world on Haven.
Yeah. That and Alpha, yeah. I mean, that guy is just a demon.
He absolutely is. Some demonic plays in this server as well, though.
We'll see if EDG can return that fire a little bit to make it even once more on this round right here. Sentinels though, they're a scary team, a dangerous team over the course of this tournament. Low expectations, I think, overall. From outside, a lot of the community talking about them.
Absolutely, but I think that made sense at the time too. Yeah. They hadn't had a recent run of great form coming into champs, and they were the 4th seed. No other 4th seed even won a match.
Bait and switch setup, fully blinded up there. Smoggy barely gets rid of the dart, so KangKang's not revealed in terms of his position, but Simon, I believe, spotted off into the corner. Wall up into his face.
So tempted for Simon to swing that.
Yeah, Zekken, you can see him. He was holding, waiting, trying to bait him in. Drone to re-clear out through mid. EDG might be looking to try and cook something up.
A re-hit here, through onto B after a little bit of a garage clear. Be a great idea here for Sen. But do they anticipate 2 players garage? It looks like KangKang should be trying to pull attention and disappear.
There's 40 seconds left out. Sen don't have map control other than through mid, and they are surrounded on multiple fronts.
Simon's a little far away to deny this plant with his ult. Is he going to rip it?
30 seconds.
Yeah, well, the stun at least does connect. He doesn't let the ult go. Aftershock is a little bit delayed. They're lighting up onto Zekken, but still the plant is down. Hunter's Fury trying to layer this one down along with the Rolling Thunder. Cacophony of ultimates, and it is coming up to fruition. JungQT there holding onto the corner. Simon with a reposition, and there's a count for it. JungQT dropped down, just can't reset the aim in time. 2v2. The top. NephopAnshu reveals it. Fights to be taken down to that 1v1. And Chichu now going to be getting that information. Sassy is revealed with the shots fired off as well. Jump spot, pulls him off. No harm in sight for Chichu. He's tapping away as well, praying for those stray shots to hit Sassy. Might need to swing this one. Chichu!
Yes!
Unable to survive.
Sassy by OP in the chat.
When the recon misses there towards the end, Sassy's got a split second to make that decision to swing. Very close to letting that one slip through his fingers. But the player on Sentinels with that Champions Trophy already in the cabinet comes up clutch for them again. A nice step by EDG once more to put pressure down mid on the retake. But the plant denial was late. I think that's a bit of an error there from Simon, actually. Led with the fault line and then the aftershock, but it was a bit too delayed. Didn't stop Zekken from planting.
And once more, the economy taking a tumble and a fall here for EDG. They don't even have a stack of players over towards A. There's nobody in KangKang.
No, at this point, Sentinels are absolutely running away with it, assuming they can convert the anti-eco.
KangKang might have something to say with it. Jump spot.
Lag हो रहा है क्या रही है?
Deserted. He's always got that Omen ultimate to be able to go back to the rest of his team. But he might end up just walking backwards into KangKang. No.
Okay, broken. Wait a second. KangKang.
Oh,
And accounting for it. They've missed each other.
But he's not watching.
Not watching at all, and still damage is done to Zekken. Softened up from the prior engagement still. Tens striking from behind. The trade is online. They might want to make their moves now over towards A, but already bodies are rapidly approaching. The trouble is EDG do not have the guns for the job.
And Sentinels can backfill all of this space up to where Tens was, because they know it was only KangKang that went through.
Bloody hell, I mean, the fault line's dodged here. Simon, there's plenty of chances for him still. He is landing them. The Sheriffs are singing right now for EDG. Defensive smoke. A lot of uncertainty for Sentinels. They can feel it. They're going to try and bail themselves out of this one. The Rolling Thunder is committed. Simon tucked to the corner, but stunned out. There wasn't much he could do into that spot. So Sentinels were pushed into a tricky situation, feeling the need to offload some of those critical ults to at least find a way to win that.
But that's very much a silver lining to a dark storm cloud approaching for EDG. A couple of moments where Chaos maybe could have make the difference for them, but I think John plays that really beautifully towards the end. Cage inside the smoke, gives him sound cues if anyone tries to push, and then you see John ping out where Zellsis should ult. The IGL making the call. All right, we've got to invest this ultimate now. It's only me and you.
4-play stack.
Does make this round a little weaker, but Sen have showcased that they can deal with everything that EDG are throwing on defense currently.
Yeah, the mid-rounding is definitely, I think, showing that Sen are currently getting the right reads into rounds, making sure to slow it down at the right moments, and then the firepower usually carrying them over the line if it does get tricky.
I think I'm right in saying the only time they've contested C fully is when they went for it on the pistol round.
Yeah, it feels like the pistol round, at least from my memory. Drone is used, hyper committed into A lobby, so Sentinels are going to be aware that that control is given up to EDG.
Certainly looking like an execute's going to come through here on C. Smoggy has his ult to try to reinforce, but is he going to be fast enough with a smoke?
Not going to be broken here. The Hunter's Fury clears his way through and back and around here. The fault line was dodged by Chichu. Has found himself.
Ay Bhagwan.
Low enough as well, but again, surgical by Tens.
It's looking like a great day for Tens out there as well. 11-4 after only 8 rounds. That's pretty ridiculous. If you look at players that have had outsized impact, outside of just the main duelists, where you're going to see great performances from Kong Kong or Zekken no matter what, if you look at who's had the biggest impact for Sentinels and EDG, I'd be looking towards Tens and Smoggy, and the fact that they're on those smoke rolls fighting against each other right now gives you a great comparison. At the moment, Tens is just getting involved in way more on the attack side, trading people out. Again, finding moments to dominate with his impact. His raw aim's so strong.
And Sen are just going to disrespect the early A lobby. Util that was dished out by EDG, they're holding, considering, I think, and waiting to see if there is that re-clearance. Strong QT does need to be careful. Opens himself up to that angle there, but again, it's the weaponry. I mean, EDG have not been able to recover any sense of that. Nothing built up in the bank.
You see there, John using a cage again for the sound cues, making sure that he can't get pressured as he takes a little more space towards mid. They're being very cautious on these anti-eco Sentinels. They don't want to get tripped up. It is incredible that EDG have only won the pistol and the follow-up. Where's the punish here? Where's the cover?
Yeah, nobody watching, just in case that was that punish here. Chichu, a couple of shots, backs away with his life, but just pulling apart the EDG defense. Second, built up by the camp, stunned up at that. Unlikely to see that follow-up. The mortar time does get dragged down to the final moments. Might see opportunities for EDG to strike. Aftershock pushing them back and away from the plant. Zellsis going for round 2, needs to be covered. And Tens has it. Pushed up, high ground angle. Chichu dropped, nobody. Off onto the extremity, flawless from Sentinels. You can say that from round 3 onwards.
They've always been in control. Have there been some dangerous moments where EDG have hit a nice shot, got into a good position? Yeah, of course. You're always going to get that with a team as good as EDG. And yet, Sen have sailed away. Clean swept the last 7 rounds in a row. Kong Kong's finally going to bring out that operator. The economy's been damaged. Been in ruins.
Just Chang.
अच्छा समझ गया
नहीं यार अरे बाबा लाया मैंने flawless lag हो रहा
Tough situation to play with the op.
Yeah, and it might come down to reactions if he gets peeked.
I mean, he's also going to get pressure from Garage unless Chichu can hold that off.
Drone sees it. Op spotted. Out for Garage now. Pins to play by Sen. Try and make their moves in through the C site now. Ball cuts it up. You can see there's an awareness at the back of the heads of Sen. They're worried about this operator in play at work. Paranoia is used to clear most of the way alongside the dart. There's many waves to the util. Celsius with the plant. Will get his ult online from this one. Everybody grouped up from EDG, setting themselves up to try and play for the retake, but it's preemptive. Sen using this to try and strike. Chichu's there. Offset though, nobody covering it. An overextension by Sentinels. Now it's up to these remaining players if they can pick up the pieces, but the stun is immaculate, and the spray down from Celsius only to wonder his troubles.
If Sentinels had had any idea there was a double operator set up in this round, I don't think they would have gone for such an aggressive post-plant option. But they didn't want to allow EDG all of that util advantage.
That's nasty.
And that's a crazy double kill from Chichu. EDG have been waiting for a moment like that the whole time. And the double ops did not particularly contribute there.
I accidentally hit my
Plays with
escape
rifles
key.
in hand. And that round, Kong actually had the Neon ultimate to be able to make up for it. When he goes for the retake, he doesn't have to just play slowly behind his team, holding angles for them. Now, however, you take a look at what's going on for EDG, and he doesn't have that to be able to back himself up.
Yeah, use just in case they get overwhelmed and swarmed here. Just that EDG's defensive setup. Even B entirely open for the taking. Obviously, Sentinels don't know this one. It's been cautious from beginning to end in most of these rounds as well. High priority to try and break some of this util through, but the trip is spotted. It was a kill trip that Chichu was hoping to play off of. Bit of spam through the wall.
Second movement is so nice in these spots as well. Jump peeking scenarios where he might be thinking about an EDG player tucked in an angle. So difficult to play a one and done against a Neon with good movement like that. Here's another Neon though with a big weapon.
Let's go and re-exploring. Risky, but you're down so many rounds that sometimes risks need to be taken. Doesn't break down the drone. It's a fault line as well. Does catch. Slow down to a crawl cage on the cross. Sowing a bit of that misinformation. Sentinels trying to make it feel like they could be retaking over towards A lobby. Dart's going to be used side by side though, shoulder to shoulder. These players unaware that they've crossed up. And Smoke.
These new friends of ours are not too friendly.
हो जाएगा चल चल कुछ नहीं
Shadows traveling.
Bomb buddy out. Grenade! Spike down B. Satchel out.
निकला तो सही और क्या
Tell
ये करे तो ही नहीं आ रहा ओ नहीं हो रहा है
If you are a working professional having 5 years of experience, then you need to listen to me.
To flood their way to the warfare reveals all. The Tens will make full usage of it. Paranoia. Connection, movement from Kang is the only surviving element.
कैसे ऐसे लड़ा ऑफ
For a shot to connect there to make it just a little bit more winnable, but
Like,
Sentinels
Sohan ने
primed
कैसे
and ready for that
मारा?
8th round.
नहीं साइफर स्टन हुआ शायद
Just a shorty to work with. There are so many angles as well. Got to be worrying about the high ground where Tens have been perched. There was a double hold out through the back. The cam tagging him. You have to play into this round. It's a last chance in the
दिखा
half.
के मारूंगा वाला राउंड है
दिखा के वाला
But it's futile.
दिखा के मारूंगा
आओ ना आओ
विंग्स बाइक इसमें स्मूथ आ रहा
Immaculate in these rounds. The teleport with his ultimate into back B. The kills through the smoke. He's untouchable right now.
17 and 7. Yeah, doesn't get much better than that. Leading the charge, kill leader in the lobby. Doesn't look like he's slowing down at all in the slightest. Absolutely incredible match so far. We're going to send it down to the floor for a nice little interview.
Hello everyone, it's Bella back with the halftime interviews. I'm joined by Zekin's mom and Tenz's uncle. Hello, 안녕하세요. Okay, first, Tenz's uncle, you know, Tenz is by far, I feel like, the most famous Valorant player in the world. What is it like having such a superstar nephew? 이렇게 텐즈 선수가 워낙 이제 전 세계적으로 유명한 발로란트 선수인데 이런 슈퍼스타 조카를 둔 소감이 좀 듣고 싶습니다.
It's an honor to, like, honestly, the kid's on a different level. I wish I could take some, like, credit for some of the skills he has, but yeah, he's different planet.
뭐 완전 영광이고 아무래도 뭐 텐즈 선수가 이렇게 잘하는 게 내 덕이야라고 조금은 말하고 싶지만 그냥 어나더 레벨 너무 대단한 선수라고 합니다. And do you have anything you want to add? I heard you can speak a little Korean.
안녕하세요, 여러분. 제가 텐스 삼촌 크리스예요. 텐스가 게임 하는 거 제가 다 알려준 거예요. 감사합니다.
잘 알아들으셨죠? And you know, 제켄 어머니도 저희에게 좀 보여주고 싶은 게 있다고 하셨는데 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. And Zeken's mom, hi, nice to meet you. And I heard that you have a little something, especially the Korean fans.
안녕하세요.
And I heard there's also a little something that you wanted to show.
Okay, you ready?
All right, let's do it. Let's dance. Let's close out with the dance. Okay, let's go. All right, back to Haven.
That is just incredible, man. That is just incredible.
Oh, that's killed me going back in. That's killed me.
Okay. Sentinels.
She's got better movement than Zeken on Neon.
Yeah, man. Runs in the family. And it's Tenz and Zeken, top of their team, showing no signs of slowing down. And this Sentinel squad, they have looked scarier as the tournament has gone on. The expectations, I think if you were watching some of their games heading into champs, wouldn't be too impressed with them, but they've proven that you cannot doubt this squad. They are consistently evolving.
From game to game, game plans, the execution of it, the teamwork, it's all looked extremely strong. This round on the pistol, Sentinels expecting a bit of pressure over towards A. That's not the case, but you're walking into Tenz again, who's top of the scoreboard.
Potentially cut off from the sideline though.
Looks slightly indecisive here from EDG. They don't like the look of what they just saw. So perhaps this stack from Sen may end up paying off anyway.
Quiet silence. Jiggle spot from Zeken is the only thing to catch contact of A short, and guess what? There's no EDG players there. It could work to their advantage, but
that paranoia looks like it's going to be huge.
Simon says
that fault line, Zelsis
Chuchi.
got it primed. So it's going to be used, an eye for an eye here with a U-turn. Kang! He's right there, still surviving, still kicking. He wants to take even more away from them. Two removed before the trade is intact, but Zeken still here alive, worried about this flanking play, but the adjustment is there, at least with the micro aim. Drops Chichu. He's still the thorn in their sides. The paranoia sweeping through. Zeken plays his life. Sassy opens himself up in through heaven. There's chances here and accounted for. Nobody's seeing it. The trade though, nobody. Great adjustment. And they're aware that Zeken was playing down towards here. There was not enough distraction to give him an in. Win cons are narrow at that. Simon off angle. Just can't drop in. One bullet will do it. Zeken somehow still alive in the midst of all of this. One is about to still the movement. Just couldn't escape and get out of dodge. Nobody. A bullet to the brain. Zeken falls. A three-piece for him. And a pistol round for EDG. Potential now to make a bit of a comeback.
Major round for nobody to get on the board. He was absolutely crucial there to be able to clean up. How on earth has he got John in that situation?
Right kick.
Yeah, nobody. Has he got John in that situation?
Minus
so
5.
that he could trade out on Zeken in short to close things. That brings the gap down to 3. And EDG are going to make it.
That's cheeky.
It is very cheeky. I love
Gang
the
bang,
addition
no.
of these kind of strategies that Sen have
Sath mein
thrown
baithe
in.
tino.
They were doing this kind of stuff on
push,
Lotus
push.
as well. Smokes that go
B
into
ke bahar.
walls, create small pockets for you to
Tens
dodge
को
recon utility.
PK buttons. Shit.
Util through, but the trip is spotted. It was a kill trip that Chichi was hoping to play off of. Bit of spam through the wall. You never know.
EDG playing with a lot of
Tens
caution
bhai.
in these rounds. It's somewhat similar to what we saw from Sentinels. Cam taking contact over towards grass.
Tens bhai,
The
hello.
rest of the team ponderously walking towards B or A, staying grouped up as well, making sure that Sen don't catch any of them off guard. I mean, apart from Chushu, obviously.
Saucy tod.
They don't want to give away any of these guns. Everybody invested from EDG, not trying to. Oh wait,
Trip was broken on the flank here. This should be a
Yeah.
normal, like, react into A, no problem, easy call.
They're going to go for that. So EDG open. Still a little bit worried as well because the defensive smoke. Celsius has found Chichu. That does give away the gun, but got to imagine with side control, EDG as well. Spades at a util.
जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा खतरों के खिलाड़ी आगे जा रहा है.
They're thinking about pushing spawn and flipping the map. They decide not to, and it turns out that's the right call because most of Sen are back.
Second में एक slide मार के
I'm
भी
just
मौका
gonna
चाड़ा
start
मार दो.
taking
शेर.
Again, advantage should still be for EDG. Got the guns, tens,
Tens bhai,
okay.
गोटा तो है.
That's
Tens
ridiculous.
bhai.
Second's been played in as well. All the crosshair placement being slipped up and around here. Kang is worried when he swings. No way, Sentinels can't be getting away with this. Off onto the flank, they double up players as well. Smoke once more. The dart has to be broken. Nobody's sticking this one. Sassy finally under the fuse, but everybody dropped.
Easy
EDG.
bro, easy. मैं बोला था.
House of Cards came crumbling down. Tumbled to the floor. There is such a thing as being too cautious in some of these rounds.
Yeah.
And I think EDG gave way too much space and respect there to Sen. Sentinels pull off the MasterCard thrifty. And first of all, they isolate Chishu, right? But that only gets them one gun. It should still be difficult for them to come back into the site. The rest of EDG had backed up, trying to play passive post-plant positions. And Tensas, I can just immediately take that space.
That's what I mean. Everybody's focus is on tens when he TPs into the smoke that he just placed down, plopped down in through the middle of the site.
And suddenly, EDG's attempt to get back into Haven
Smoke
looks like a far cry.
Smoke is ऊपर करते
Gap almost looked like it was going to be down to 2, and yet here it looks like it's going to be extended to 5. That's what a difference that one round makes.
Chichu's hoping that he would open himself up through into mid, give him an easy access to a shot, maybe a kill. Something to change the tide that's currently been fully against them in this map.
I trust you, Second.
Got up onto the corner though, no util, that was contact by Kang.
Didn't hear the trip, didn't hear a cam.
Smoke. Tens bhai smoke.
Right down onto B.
Celsius,
Late.
a little late with it. I mean, usually Celsius is going to be playing in the B connector. This time swapping things over, playing top garage. Was a little late on that, so there's chances that EDG could make something funky happen. Smokey's going to go for that garage post-plant flank by the look of things.
First wave used by Sentinel clears out the side as well, so they've got peace of mind. Zephyr's sticking this, got half already. Aftershock a little bit late. Trip is nice in case they send themselves out and try and take the fight past this point of almost no return. Very weak wars, flimsy paper mache at that Smoggy off from the side as Zekin cleaned it. Defusing, sticking all the way while the rest of his team does press that advantage. So there was some level of danger. EDG get that plant down and playing the post from that spot.
You get rifles online and suddenly that round is super dangerous though. EDG had some nice ideas about how they wanted to play the post plan. You know, the early garage information could have set up Smoggy. I really like Chishu's setup as well. He had Cam and Trip. That Trip is so tough for the retakers to deal with, but it goes back through the wall. Util goes down. EDG, though, need to start putting this kind of stuff together on rounds that are super important. Those rifle eco swing round moments. They're going to take a tactical timeout here. The last one off the map. Trying to get things back on track.
This is their map pick as well at Haven. It's going so poorly. I mean, I was so ready to sing the praises of EDG, I think, in terms of preparation they put in as well. I mean,
his ideas about how they
at least diffusing.
ठीक है क्यूटी भाई ए पे ट्रैप डालो ऐसा ये एंट्रेंस है ऐसा डालो और एक ऐसा सीधा ऊपर। फिर जेकन भाई है ना, जेकन भाई खेलते डब्बों के ऊपर, डब्बों के ऊपर ठहर के रहते, गप मारना। जेल्सियस भाई खेल सामान के बी, जैसे प्लांट हो आफ्टर, जैसे प्लांट हो आफ्टर शॉक, स्टन आफ्टर स्टॉक, स्टॉक आफ्टर शॉक, स्टॉक शॉक। फिर खेलेंगे हमारे सासी भाई इनटू द सी। सासी भाई देंगे रिवील सी पे, पुश आएगा, शॉक डॉट अल्ट।
Backside, you need Smoggy to start getting involved as
Tens
well.
भाई आप
He's
कहीं भी
been
खेलो।
one of, if not the most impactful player for EDG in their run of champs.
ए पे खेल
He's absent right now.
हिला मत।
Oh my goodness, okay, Kang.
अरे सेल्सियस भाई मेरी प्लान की
Fast play.
अगला ठीक है, सेकंड भाई मैं नहीं
Sassy trying to play with the
इग्नोर।
drone that was used prior, gets the tag
Ignore
onto the
second
one, but pushed back and away. But a player dropped on the side of Sentinels. This is the opening that EDG praying for.
छोड़ो कोई ना, आप मेरे जैसे दिखते हो, मैं छोड़ दे रहा हूँ, मेरे जैसे दिखते हो।
Second going for that re-exploration, looking for the info. Simon's tucked, only the shoulder. Smoggy's there to supplement as well. Up him, ow! What is that movement? Second just counts it, Simon! It's an absolute worldie with that shot right there. The wheel of the bullet straight down to the bitter end, Simon. Quick to capitalize.
-10 पे चल रहे तुम।
Some incredible shooting to get
Zazi
EDG
भाई
back into
ठीक है,
things
Zazi
there.
भाई।
Tens is going to
Oh,
all
no.
of these rotates.
Tens,
He
Tens.
might be able to cut somebody off as well. Nobody was thinking about going through the garage. That would have been a death sentence. Tens is right here behind them though. If EDG pause for a moment, he's going to have the backstab.
Tens.
Smoke and C is going to be fading. They are not going to anticipate this. He is so quick. Right there behind them.
He
In a
needs his own smoke to
2v3.
fade.
And it will be dissipating. Oh, Simon! He's still there though. This guy's been a savior for EDG in so many moments. The util just narrowly avoided. He's to the fault line. John QT still here. But enough has been done surely for EDG and they know it. Doubled up high-low. Simon taking that point. 4-piece in the end. That's what EDG needed.
Somebody else to come in and clean up what Kang delivers you with his opening fuels and his entrying. How does he get that at all? Celsius should have been way behind the corner there. These shots, it's absurd what Simon's put together, especially when he's stunned up in the corner. Nice idea from Sentinels, but Simon rips it away. I was talking about Smoggy stepping up, but it's a newcomer that delivers that difference-making round.
Yeah, and over the course of the tournament, Simon has just been impressive over and over again.
Yeah.
Heavy stack from Sen. Ah, misses. Zekken gets onto the line of sight, but feels like a bit of uncertainty. Can't really take the fight that he wanted to here. The drone from nobody should be clearing, potentially. Might just be fading. In fact, it is. So doesn't clear into the corner. Hunter's Fury to push them back and away. One tag. Many more players where that came from, and it does soften up a few of them. So EDG feeling a bit weakened, but not deterred away from A.
They've also seen Simon's ripping it on the fake.
He's going for a fake here, just very much alone, just trying to cut that noise. Hunter's Fury as well to try and sell this one. Players trying to be pulled back. Sassy though, he realizes it. There's no follow-up off the back of him. He doesn't hear any footsteps, so Sentinels just contain that. Bring it down into the 4v4, slow it all the way down, realizing that they've lost control, but so is Kang. Losing track of where these players could potentially be. John QT puts him in his place and spraying him down through the cage.
Does it better?
All revealed with the neural theft. It's gone tipsy-turvy.
4K QT.
EDG. What should have been a great opener, they've over
4K QT.
into the round itself. Teacher's low, great movement. Slightly ajar, just making it so damn uncomfortable for these EDG players to stand their ground and take these fights. Sentinels up to 11.
Didn't really like the fake attempt there. I think it's far too obvious what EDG pulled out in that round. They're sending double ults, but there's nobody scaling off of it. There's no standard util at the beginning, like recon flashes, that kind of stuff. And on top of that, the rest of EDG weren't even set up to hit a site immediately. They were still making that migration over towards the C site. Didn't really like the fake attempt there. I think it's far too obvious what EDG pulled out in that round. They're sending double ults, but there's nobody scaling off of it. There's no standard util at the beginning. It's weird. I don't know if they're trying to hardfire or if they're trying to force it. What's Smoggy doing?
It's all over the place. Bargaining this by, but they're not on the same page with this one. Another fault line to set this up. Early angles from Kang, but he's revealed up. No one deals with that dart. The bolt and the stun just not quite connecting. Still, they want to square him, Simon! God, he's a miracle worker. Survives on barely a shred of health. As low as you can go. Cut noise now, go for the rest of the hit, but he has opened his sight up now. In and away, John QT. Praying in through the smoke as well. The slightest of reveals and the bullets just not quite landing onto Kang, but potentially done enough here. Played Sassy in through onto the back, right through the wall. Lands it to the dome. Kang's being dropped now. 3 versus 3 Sentinels. Still make a go of things here. EDG trying to make that play. Good trade by TenZ once more, but the smoke dropped down. Now with a paranoia, all added on top. Leaving it just down to TenZ, and he's doing damage right through the wall. Isolates the 1-4 bullet. Oh my! TenZ! He just will not be stopped.
What a beast! What an incredible player! He's having a monstrous tournament. He has been performing at outrageous levels. The game against Gen G, his impact today, 21 kills across 18 rounds. And he's just saved them after Simon should have opened the door and made that one unlosable for EDG.
One enemy remaining.
Isolating the angle perfectly, swinging back out. And Smoggy just cannot find a kill today. Another 1v1 kind of clutch situation that he can't win.
Almost every clutch going away is Sen, almost every single round off the back of that.
He also didn't have armor, by the way, Smoggy, to begin that round. Maybe that could have made a difference.
For EDG now, frantic attempt. It's a tap. Try and pull somebody util out as well. Fake the pressure.
Yo!
The cage helps him. How's he getting away? That's ridiculous. Glides himself back as well. And back and forth we go as EDG scrambling for a chance to get back into this second. He's still alive. Overdrive in his hands, and he wants more. Never bite of the apple. But discipline is called for in moments like this, and they tempered around down at that minute mark. Celsius, flash, re-exploration, re-clearing, double held though, and that is Sentinels getting ahead of themselves.
It is good information, however, for Sassy to start pushing out. Could he be the
Sassy,
playmaker here?
You got this, Sassy.
EDG are quite trapped. They don't quite know where everybody is. In fact, they don't know where anybody is.
Full map control lost. Sassy, Smoggy. He's watching for that peek. The slow walk around the corner.
Finally comes alive in this
30
map.
seconds left.
It's down to Celsius. 1v3 spam. Through into the smoke. Planned out from Simon, but the smoke was watched the entire time. Smoggy's turn to really come alive. It's 4 kills from him in the round.
They need that from Smoggy. He's been utterly crucial for them in terms of accessing their full potential.
Almost doubled his kills.
Absolutely world class. And he's only played, what is this, his 3rd map playing Neon?
This year?
This year.
Yeah.
With new Neon as well. I mean, all of the stuff he did years ago playing Neon is it's not all that relevant anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a prodigy, I think, when it comes to, I mean, I'm sure he's played Neon before, obviously, but same setup being used by EDG. Got to claw back these rounds one step at a time. Sassy, jump spot, gets that acknowledgement.
And at no point can EDG make a mistake. One error, like Chishu walking in here, and it could all be over!
Oh, no! But Chishu dropped. The flank opened up. Sentinels. They know that
A planting, TenZ by, A planting, TenZ by.
Broken. Nice awareness.
Yeah, shock dart has to be used to make sure to get rid of that one, though, but he planned down. Extension into the round, but this is it. This is where EDG make their stand. See if they can stay alive into this map.
You need good defensive utility here from the post-planters. Paranoia, Aftershock has to be used to keep them back.
It's going to be used. Eye for an eye when it comes to the util. Aftershock even down into hell. Sentinels are being kept out of the fight. Kang will ensure that they don't step past it. Nobody right there with him. The feed is filled up. All with red. And hunting, chasing. John QT, fully blinded. Kang empowered. EDG are still in this fight.
Lovely post-plant situation play there from EDG. That's such a critical round for them to get. Those 2 in a row from EDG have now knocked the economy to Sen.
Enemy remaining.
Which is the first time, apart from, you know, follow-ups from pistols or whatever. Those chances, 6 of them, narrowed down to 4. still can't afford to make a mistake. It must be flawless from here on out to get us into overtime. And we've seen, I mean, even if you think back to yesterday, G2 playing against Fnatic, they're having to be flawless in that situation. Wild things can happen.
Oh yeah.
Triple spray downs, full blind, they can occur in games like this. So you never want to be in a spot like EDG currently is, where one big play or one mistake can send you rattling forwards onto Sentinel's map pick of Lotus. And all the pressure is on your shoulders.
No more breathing room.
EDG are one match win away from being able to get a top 3 spot. And not just a global event, not just a Masters event, a Champions. Something they've never managed to achieve before. And that's top 3 minimum. Who knows? They could go further perhaps. And yet today, they haven't been able to access that full potential just yet. They're going to need 4 big rounds to show us what they're truly made of.
With no room for error. These players have been in similar spots before. They know you have to take it one round at a time. For Sentinels, economy dropped all the way down. You can see it just from the 2 sheriffs that are being worked with.
Do they have a eco round strategy to work with here? Yeah, it's another one of those smokes that goes inside a wall. With the idea being you can dodge the recon dart, and Zekken can swing out from an unexpected position. He's also playing anti-flash in that spot as well, right? If Simon did go for that flash through bricks. But EDG not going to send with any pace on the anti-eco. And they have been playing these kind of rounds really slowly, very cautiously.
Does potentially open themselves up to mistakes being made. Sentinels are going for the full migration.
यार सी पे फिर से जा रहे हैं यार, ये तमीज यार सी में बंद रखने को बोला था, सेज वॉल लो बोला था तुम्हारे को.
They see no signs of life. You feel so worried into this spot if you are EDG.
Ulti Sassy
committing. I mean, full body players.
Sassy ulti मारो.
Seaside, guess what?
Sassy पे ulti मारो.
Ready to meet them. See if the weaponry does make that difference here. With a stuns, util offloaded into the corner. Kang just can't really hold it down with a steady ground, but still, as the smokes fade away, overdrive! Kang! It's galvanizing. An electric performance from him, still adjusting tens. Difficult shot for him to hit. Sheriff in hand, 4-piece, hunting down the remaining player, John QT, quick in his boots! But he will not give up that ace.
Shish dum!
I love the determination with which Kang hunted for that one too. Would have been far better for Simon to pick up the kill, get his ult online for the next round.
Cutie.
Got to imagine that EDG are fairly confident about getting those ults up anyway. Ult orb over by C hasn't been contested too much by Sen. Maybe this would be the round to pull out some kind of play like that. Fight over one of the orbs. Kang with all of those kills has now overtaken Tens and Zekken, who are tied at 21 apiece. But they still got to get 3 more of those, and now Sen have rifles back. Here's that same strat again.
Yep. Hiding away. Edge of the smoke just might reveal the hand of Sen of what they're going for here. The drone has to be broken. EDG making an attempt to play for that A lobby control, inserting Smoggy, potentially for the long hauls. Util's going to be used, pulled out of them. They don't want anything to do with it. Hunter's Fury. Get some tags onto a few of these players. Yeah, Kang. He was dodging, was weaving, was hoping that it would be unaccounted for. Here's the reaction. EDG now making the moves over towards C.
C guys again.
Who gets the plant in this position? Okay, nobody throws the spike over to Simon. That's going to get them Rolling Thunder active. Do they play aggressive with it?
They want to.
We saw Sen fail in this spot before.
They're going to let it loose. Let it rip in through the back. But it's so easy to overextend if you're the attackers. That's broken. That's the trigger. They want to try and go for this one. Smokes in their face. Aftershock as well. Rifles in play at works. Fault line. And get Sentinels back into the fight, back into the fray. Cut them up. Paranoia is perfect. Players are there. Sliding forward. Chichu is dropped to his knees. And for EDG have to watch in dismay as the spike is defused, the map is stolen away. Their map pick of Haven. And now you have to stand up to the test that is Lotus, excuse me, for that map 2.
A great opener from Sen. A squad that are just getting scarier and scarier.
Evolving as the course of the series goes on as well. The series, of course, yet to be concluded. EDG could still battle back, but it's going to be a hell of a task when Sen are playing like this.
Subscribe, you motherfucker.
in here, and it could all be over.
Oh no! Uchija dropped. The flank opened up. Sentinels.
A planting, tens by, A planting, tens by.
Broken. Nice awareness.
Yeah, shock dart has to be used to make sure to get rid of that one though, but he planned down. Extension into the round, but this is it. This is where EDG make their stand. See if they can stay alive into this map.
You need good defensive utility here from the post planters. Paranoia, Aftershock has to be used to keep them back.
It's going to be used. Eye for an eye when it comes to the util. Aftershock even down into hell. Sentinels are being kept out of the fight. Kang will ensure that they don't step past it. Nobody right there with him. The feed is filled up.
Social. Mouth. Pout. Shout. क्या है भाई? क्या है? बताओ. Barking. Barking. Sentence. Outrage. Shortage. Sta. यार कितनी देर में स्टार्ट होगा नहीं रीमैच?
Gives you
क्वार्टर की स्पेलिंग क्या है रे? QUAT. अरे क्वार्टर की स्पेलिंग क्या है?
Sentinels, they're on the board. I'm now joined by their head coach, Kaplan. Now, once you guys reached 12 points, it felt like it was going to be inevitable for you to take this map. But EDG, they were getting back into the game. So how did you guys manage to actually close this one out?
Yeah, I think we did a good job with sticking to ideas from the timeout, being able to run them again, realize that maybe a little mistake happened or they didn't see the gimmick.
You're my partner,
we were getting a bit incompetent, a little hesitant. I was ready to hit another timeout and say, why are we not swinging them harder, second guessing a little bit, I think, with ults. But we didn't have to do it. We ended up closing out in the end, so it was good.
Absolutely. And the vibes look great. How are the vibes with the team right now?
Very good. Definitely trying hard to get this win so we can have a little time to rest. A little break before up finals. I think we're getting a bit tired, so.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck.
And Sentinels pick up the win, and I think it's safe to say that that game was awesome. Strongly agree?
I would agree with that.
Yes,
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And what Coach Kaplan is saying there is so pivotal, because if you remember their run at Madrid, that guy looked haggard. They were playing every single day. They had to go down below. They had to play every match. And now here Sen have an opportunity to bounce back, win one more map, and get a break before the top 3 at the Inspire Arena.
Absolutely,
you're right, we're going to have another member of the Ball Brotherhood. You know what I mean? Whenever I saw Kaplan, I was like, brother, hold on to it for as long as you can. But you know what, though? What they were able to hold on to were these incredible post plants that we were seeing from Sentinels. I mean, goodness gracious, Kukuka. They had full control of the site. And honestly, it was all based off of Zekin's momentum. momentum. This guy was unreal.
Of course. Totally, but I think that the credit has to go to all of them. I think that, as I said, I think Zekken understands exactly what he needs to do, and when he has to overheat a little bit, you know, he has to be looking for the duos, he has to be confident enough to take it. But the plan overall on this executes was so clean, it was almost impossible for them to lose this kind of situations.
I think that Neon is the mechanically most difficult agent to play in this game. And also,
Zekken makes it look like it's so easy.
Yes, but it also requires the best mechanics, because a lot of the time, even though you're getting set up with great team play, with breach stuns, with Soba darts, you're still put in positions where you have essentially just a 1v1. It's an advantaged 1v1, but you don't have a trade, and you have to be converting on those situations. And I think we saw in the first half so consistently Zekken being put in those positions where he had to take that duel, had to give his team the advantage, doing that really well, but then also having the restraint to chill out after getting that winning position, playing with the team and playing that proper Valorant to close out these critical rounds.
But I think also the defense is a very good example of that. You need to understand, like, sometimes we would see EDG, for example, the round that they fake onto A. Sentinels have the calmness to just look back and just reinterpret everything that is going on the map and not step very quickly into conclusions and into decisions.
It's very easy to get baited in those situations, and a credit goes to Sentinels for handling that expertly. Of course, you know, it goes to John QT and his incredible mid-round calling, but also we have a Verizon high-speed moment here, because rounds like this also help out, because now you get a big kill that comes through, and then at that point you put it on Zekken, you say, Zekken, go kill, and he did just that. Open up the round for
And I mean, it was more than that even. It was TenZ with that teleport out of heaven to dive on in. They didn't have anything going into this round, but recovering that one weapon and some excellent team play on that retake. Basically, I think snowballed them to closing out this second half.
The craziest thing is that they did this the other day. Against the RX, they had a very similar round where they just group up and decide to just isolate the duels to just take always 2v1s or even 3v-Xs. And it's crazy to think that this just works again, that they identify that somebody might be lurking, somebody might have taken that position. They get that gun and they just very slowly work their way into the site.
Yeah, it was methodical, it was well put together. That's not to take anything away from EDG though, because they were starting to rally that comeback. Let's not forget, they were able to pick up those pistols early on, which allowed them to be able to stay competitive in this game. But now they got their backs against the wall. So let's see what's going on with the coach of EDG as we have Yinsu standing by.
I'm now standing by with Coach Margot from EDG ahead of Map 2 and Luna to do some translations as well. Now on Map 1 there were a lot of chaotic and maybe messy moments. Was that part of your game plan? And if so, is this the part of your game plan as well for Lotus?
我
觉得还是我们图一有点，就是准备要更进一步的时候，还是有一点紧张，然后就是可能大家都有点放不开或者什么的，就会显得比较混乱。但是我觉得图二和后面都会好起来。
I think we're a little bit nervous when we're trying to step one step ahead, but I feel like we'll be better. We'll get it better on the map too.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck.
यार मेरे को भी ट्रांसलेटर चाहिए यार.
All right, well, you heard there from the coach, but we'll see how they'll try to bounce back going in to Map 2. Here comes the Agent Select, and you are going to get the Clove, the Neon, but shockingly enough, Sentinels are going to go and stick with the Rays rather than go with the Neon.
I'm so surprised because the change in the playoffs, even though we've only seen them one time, was bringing in that Neon, but they decide to go for this map, knowing and understanding how EDG plays us and how to play around the Clove, how they play as a Sentinel, right? Because you having control over this map can become so difficult, but apparently Sentinels has found the key, or so they think.
Yeah, it was Lotus that Sentinels ended FPX's run in the group stage, and while they don't play this exact comp, FPX used to play a similar double controller. I imagine they were prepping for that comp. They've got to be prepped for this one, and this is their chance to make it into the top 3.
EDG's backs against the wall. Can they force a Map 3? Take this one to distance. You want it, I know these two want it. Brent, Sideshow, over to you.
Though Map 3 would just be glorious, I think, between these two teams as well. And I hope that EDG have those hidden reserves, I think, to deliver that for us as well, because unfortunately, it is set against them right now in terms of expectations. Lotus is Sentinel's map pick. They have looked primed and ready to take the series away on this map in the past as well. Not just that, over the course of this tournament, I would say. They've looked stellar. They've looked amazing. 3 would just be glorious, I think, between these two teams as well. And I hope that
the best
EDG
Lotus performance that we've seen all across champions. But how much of that was knowing their opponent and playing standard comps? This is very, very non-standard from EDG, and we're going to get a clash on Mound.
Here's a hard read as the C's getting up and over! And yeah, paint shells.
No, I think they got the read on this.
Exactly. Splitting them to pieces.
You couldn't get a better indication of that. Presumably, they would have held it if the fault line had not come through, and they were actually aiming for Simon in that spot. But they may have just let it go anyway. Hard antied them.
Preparation is clear right now for Sentinels.
As it was the last time they played on Lotus, they hard read what Gen G were bringing out. They're going to expect this contact play, though. Up into A. John getting pressured a little bit here, but there's always the pivot through that blue room. That's where they're going. End on B.
Smoggy himself a lot of space for the rest of his team, and yet that is an open avenue as a flash and a peek from Smoggy, but nobody from Sentinels overstepping themselves. In fact, it's Smoggy who's worse for the wear. Might be calling for another refight. They are grouped up. I believe that's 3 players of EDG looking for the fight. They don't think Zekken is here. Cuts it up close. Boombot in his hands, lets it loose. Will take that contact in through the smoke. The fight has to be taken. Risks in order for EDG to bail themselves out of this spot. But they just cannot hold a candle to everything Sen were running, man. It's layers ahead, thinking about it every single step of the way.
That's an utterly beautiful pistol round from Sen. Right from the beginning, you're seeing them anti with this Seize nade, and it looks like they were going to throw it even without the fault line there, based on the timing. That catches on to nobody. Look how well Zekken is played into this spot by Sassy. Sassy jiggles, making it feel like he's the only player Waterfall, and then Sassy even rotates to open the door and apply pressure from another route. It's perfection. It's actually scaring me watching Sen. They are playing so much better here.
It's all right, mate. You don't have to face them. It's okay.
Absolutely. But they're playing so much better than you have any right to expect of a team that looked like they were in a bit of a slump before champs. They've woken up.
All the experience accumulating. Mounting down to this. They've been in rough spots before, this Sentinel squad as well. And how much this means for EDG in this series, where a win would get them top 3 for Sentinels. They've already reached those heights and more. They've lifted a trophy. They've been in these spots, and they know what it takes to win a tournament. On display, I think, from that preparation, Tens. Doesn't overstep himself, just takes the one player. Kang dropped down and out, second with a re-exploration, realizing that these players are split up, and now it's time for a bit of orb farming. Zekken going to want to try and potentially get that ult closer and closer to being online. Simon, tune him up. Nice crossfire setup with him and nobody, and it's brought it down to 1v3, but with nobody low enough, as it is, Boombot spotting him as well. Did it himself a gun and an open side onto C.
May have been slightly overzealous there, that push out through the smoke on C. Nobody's a great player. You can't give him openings like that. I think the health is just too low. It would be such a task for him to be able to get plant down and a free pick and reset and win the 1v2. Can just get spammed through any box, any slight door frame.
Nobody's just tapping this one with only 14 seconds left.
It looks like he's just trying to save the gun.
Trying to, save a gun, potentially catch that kill, but wasn't expecting to win that one, so he doesn't get away with a weapon either.
And he puts the Phantom back into the hands of Sentinel, so Zekken's going to be happy he got that one at the end. This is another thing that absolutely blew Gen G away, is that Sen are so good right now at putting the right people in positions to farm the ult economy on Lotus. It's Zekken again. This is mirror image, although the sides are swapped, of what happened last time they played on Lotus. Zekken, I'm sure people are going to be calling for him to play Neon on this map, but the Raze ult is so powerful, and Zekken always is there at the tip of the spear on pistols and follow-ups.
Oh yeah.
He's 2 away.
I mean, it's called Showstopper for a reason. Heavily impactful. Basically defines the way that you do play the map of Lotus with this composition. Very much all in though from EDG, in through B. Sentinels give up this open space onto the site, willing to try and play this one into the retake. With the bonus weaponry that they do have, they are grouped up as well, so 5 versus 5.
Pressure here towards Heaven onto John Cutie, who only has a ghost. That could be the win con for EDG.
Making sure that they can dominate a portion of the post plant here. John seemingly aware of it though. He just catches that contact and he makes the call that they are playing up towards Heaven. The question is, does Sen have anything to deal with it? Bullets flying forwards. Luck of the draw was what they were hoping for. Simon doesn't need luck on his side. Flex the muscles, flex the mechanics. And with that, Sen, round is dusted for them.
What a spot to put your breach in.
Yeah.
Smoggy get on the board early up as well. Helping settle those nerves. They need a big performance to come out from Smoggy playing Clove on this map. One of the big reasons why you would make a pick like that. But until Smoggy starts putting up those big performances, Simon has been there, and he was there on Haven. Normally, it's like big impacting clutch moments or something that we've seen from Simon, but now he's just letting the raw aim do the talking, tucked into basically a one and done in that spot and gets two. Here's a fight over towards Rubble. Sees nade prepped again. We saw the value that that brought on the pistol.
Yeah, you might think as well clashes might favor EDG into this spot, but all it takes is the one. They're going to make a go of things here as well. TP up towards the top. The Seas, I believe, was dead a little bit too early there, so they give up that space once more. Fault line. Second level of things here for EDG, just in case there is that refight. Chichu clearing most of this. Sentinels players, though, they're lying in wait, and the paranoia triggers the play. Still, Chichu still there! This guy is ready to punish them for the hubris, thinking that they could take that fight open and out. Sassy going for that repeak. The trade not in sight. Player's not ready to account for that one. Sassy's still here, man. Dropping himself back. Under 12 HP, but with 2 kills. Earned under the round and under his belt. There's an opening now for Sentinels in the round.
Champs form Sassy is a dangerous beast. This is not guaranteed at all for nobody in Smoggy.
Going through the back of the side, you can tell that there's still levels of unknown. Even the Seas just use preemptively in case that somebody was in that smoke.
They're worried about hard anchors. They're thinking that John could be in that spot. Sen have actually doubled up here. Looks like it could well catch EDG off guard.
Alpha advantage over EDG. And Sentinels themselves splitting up. Watchful eye from John. A couple of different avenues, but not pushed together. John, where have you pulled that one from? The brink seemingly, it leaves it all down to Smoggy. Time will start to tick onto this one here, and he's isolating his voice line. His players up yet. John stands tall to the pressure. And a rifle fire itself, he was not shaken. Wins it out, granting Sentinels that third.
Very good.
John standing up, standing tall, as you say, not allowing the nerves or the moment to get to him. Trading out the player with the weaker health in front. I'm not a big fan of how Sentinels played this round, actually, in terms of their strategy to re-clear on Rubble. It gave EDG the advantage, and it was individual skill from Sassy. Plus, I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
Nice, boys!
Sen getting back in with the player quality that we know from this team. EDG need to be able to answer. Same or very similar Rubble setup from the defenders here. Tens not playing inside tree, they're making a mix-up. Resetting very quickly to stop a B fight from happening, but if Simon rips his ult, all 3 players could be caught.
Seconds closer to showstopper, and he's going to let him rip! Early on, at least not even getting the kill, damage done. Nobody's still surviving. Here's the Rolling Thunder, but they've crossed it up onto the corner! Yes! Intense and Sassy will punish them for stepping past that.
What a read from Sen that was going B early on. Fake Rubble fight, and they've read the pivot over towards C here as well. They are not worried about a repop into B whatsoever. Taking spawn, waterfall, ready to fight these guys, deny the plant before it even comes through.
Hardest read.
John's so far ahead of the game.
Just following the sound cues as well, Simon. Sticking with the plant, he doesn't even get that. Bullets precisely lay it down exactly where they were needed, and Chichu's just praying, hoping that he doesn't receive the same fate. Spike planted, but it's not in a great spot here, but the paranoia sweeping his way through. It's down to instinct and timing. Chichu still traded off, only with the one. Smoggy smoked off and away in a crossfire to lay claim to his life. Sentinels, again, showcasing the preparation, showcasing the form, the constant evolution of this squad, and the experience.
And look how beautifully they dodged that. 2 players still in crossfire position, Sassy and Tens, able to shut down that Rolling Thunder completely. And that, after their showstopper gambit, failed as well.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's
I'm
the
cheating,
second layer of their defense.
Many steps ahead. It's getting to the point where I'm at risk as well. Overglazing Sentinels, perhaps, but honestly, they deserve it.
They do. The performance we're seeing from them at the moment is
Reveal ho gaye
trophy lifting
bete.
caliber, actually. The question is whether they can keep it up and whether EDG can answer back.
जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा खतरों के खिलाड़ी को बहुत जबरदस्त मारो ठीक है गन्ना मारना है हमारे
EDG have pulled together essentially scraps to have a chance of having to full buy into the next. A control's given up. Sen, and just looking to player positionings, they've got them surrounded on every front imaginable. The door's going to open up with the Prowler as well, but that's going to be broken down early. Tens retreating out through the back of the site. That is risky by Second. Satchel to save their day, and Sassy striking right where it hurts. And accounted for. The pin to play. And it just feels like there's no hope at this point for EDG.
Sassy has hidden reserves. If you think back to the way in which this guy lifted a Champions Trophy in the past, all throughout that year, 2 years ago, he would always say, the team would always say, doesn't matter about Masters, what we're prepping for is Champs. We're looking to level up and peak at the right time. When you watch him and the shots he's hitting, I don't think Sassy's been doing this very much this year, and I was a little worried that maybe he didn't have it in him anymore.
Right.
More fool me for thinking that of the bald beast from Brazil.
This guy, he is unreal with the form factor that he's been in over the course of this tournament. Even at the beginning as well, he was saying that it doesn't matter how many trophies you win, it just makes you more and more addicted to winning. It makes you want it more.
I think plenty of other Sen players will be feeling that right now as well. Tens, Sassy, they understand it. And they've been both through the hard times as well as the good.
Oh, for sure.
And they're trying to bring that peak at the right moment.
Think back to last year.
I mean,
Don't have to think back far.
No. And that's one of the massive difference between these two teams. Sen are trying to fight as an org, from Tens' POV, for that third trophy, that third peak. Whereas it would be EDG's first attempt at even making top 3, a podium finish, minimum bronze in this tournament if they were able to come back here. But it would take some incredible resilience, because right now they're looking beaten down. And they need this round. Their economy is getting stretched.
Slower play though. Court forwards pulled a lot of these Sentinels players out and away. Kankang's the only player in through the side. Chichu sticking with the TP in through. You're in the smoke already. TP crossed up under the corner. Kankang punish from the Odin spam. Directed him exactly to where Zelsis was going to be playing from, and the smokes are renewed in the face of Sentinels. This is a different look for EDG, but still finding it difficult to even get this plant down. Nobody with the plan. Nightfall now. Going to be used and expended. Sentinels trying to use this to get themselves in. The John QT scatters their ashes to the wind. Chichu will have to hold it down. Out through the back move before sound cut away. Not long for this world. Smoggy left. Isolating. Heads are popping. Sassy sticking onto the half. The util is good. Best chance in a long while. They've got to deal with Sassy. Not dead yet. Sassy sticking, but the swing coming through.
Another round where Smoggy gets impact. That's a huge turnaround from EDG in a spot where it looked like John off the back of Sassy's ultimate had done enough. EDG fight back, make sure that their eco isn't broken again, and get at least a second round on the board. Great punish from Kankang too. He's trying to give his team as many good opening opportunities as he can. That's more of that snappy aim that we've come to expect from Smoggy. Looked good there in that position, anchoring towards water. And now big rubble fight again. Sen have not really wanted to opt into these, but they have been doing some re-clear strats.
Tends to spot it out though. He opened the door himself as well to see if he could take a quick little peek. Like a gamble on his part with a pixel angle, but he's going to be retreating now. Throw into the back of the side. EDG, they want to go rapid. Increase of the tempo, overdrive as well. That's put in a squeeze, and Tens tested in that moment. Can't offset EDG. Overwhelming him as the smokes dissipate too. John QT is fully unaware. Nades ricocheting, but it matters not. Smoggy right there when you least expect him.
EDG do have it in them. What a beautiful change of tempo. Just when it looks like they're down and out, they put together two very nice rounds. Utilizing the fact that Sen have been a bit timid over on Rubble. Haven't put together a round where Sen have gone for the full denial. Seen spots where Celsius has clutched in that position before, but he's got no hope here. He's just trying to hold on to that Phantom. It's his first kill, strangely enough.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Sometimes that's the way of things when you do end up dominating, winning by such a margin that you just don't get involved into the fights.
Other people are just doing it for him.
Yeah. Keeps it to the next though. And this is EDG, I think, with that tempo increase. The prior round, if you remember, think back, that EDG did win. They started with a very slow default.
Super slow. First minute, they weren't really doing much. I mean, they were pressuring towards A and C, making it difficult for Sen to get the read.
Yeah.
But that was a massive increase in pace. And Ten's got caught completely off guard there. John wasn't fast enough to make a decision about what he wanted to do, how he wanted to support Ten. So the Omen Star for Sentinels was left adrift there on the A side. Kaplan's going to come in, add his own experience into the mix. He was talking during the coach, but that was a massive increase in completely off guard there. John wasn't fast enough to make a decision about what he wanted to do, how he wanted to support Ten. So the Omen Star for Sentinels was left adrift there on the A side. Kaplan's going to come in, add his own experience into the mix. He was 9 and 1 in first kill to first death second. He was 5 and 0 in first kills against Kankan.
Yeah.
And he's kept all of that pace up, proving that it's not to do with the agent he's playing. Now 10 and 4, 1 away from Showstopper.
He's locked in.
And it looks like they're going to be bringing that over towards A. This is very similar to what they were doing against Gen G. Putting John Cutie here as well gives them a snake bite to be able to shut down any EDG rubble fight. But they got the read slightly wrong here. They're going to just end up using a ton of util when EDG are not contesting it.
Yeah, so a lot of that's not going to be used for retake, for plant denial. And scurry away as well. Most of the space is going to be given up. It's hard to hold on to this with EDG's composition. The double initiator, Prowler, Sassy, catching the contact. Needs to be careful. The door is open wide for the evacuation.
And that's where you see the value of Clove Smokes as well. Smoggy throws one down and they're able to get this space. And they found a completely open A site. EDG come out of the attack timeout, read Sen perfectly.
Great ideas. Center in position though to try and make a go of this one with the flood defense. Rock hit to the floor, and it finds the contacted target exactly Zekken was looking for. Almost beamed down into the process, but it's a kill advantage, and that puts the uncertainty in place here for EDG into top. And they want nothing to do with the A site.
I mean, ideally they'd be looking to pivot over towards B, but they don't actually have any info there. Nobody playing B main. They'd have to be worried about so many angles if they did go for that pivot. They also only have one smoke on Smoggy right now.
Open to the cut of noise. Trying to bait Sen in for the re-exploration. Still the Haunt will reveal the hand. And Smoggy cuts it up onto the angle as they're trying to evacuate and make that pivot possible out towards B. There's still players at their backs. Sentinels could be ready to remove a few lives. Peek from Sassy. Haunt as well, doesn't get broken. And it's flanks on flanks, the timing's round and round we go. Simon reveals it. It's a phone line. He's trying to play his team back in, but from that angle, John QT is none the wiser.
He thought it was coming from sight.
Still a 2v2. Not planned to really for them well. And at the baby door, Sassy's holding. Damage done to Zelsis. It's precarious. He feels like he can't really make the tap happen. Contact, high-low, EDG. Waiting to strike that time pressure. Sentinels, you're running out of win cons. You've got to stick this at some point. Circle's got to be shrinking at some point here. Locking it down onto the corner and half not earned. It's EDG. Bringing it back. One round at a time is how it's done. A 4-for-1 to the tally. And one more to be even.
If nerves were affecting them during Haven, as Muggle said, there are no signs of it anymore. These last 3 rounds, absolute steel nerves from them. After Sassy goes to the tap, they don't budge an inch. They didn't give any possibility of a fight there to Zelsis or Sassy. And Simon, I thought he might have given it away with the fault line, but he still ended up finding value in his lurk spot. We're back into this round. Sentinels again, making sure that rubble belongs to the defenders. But it is a large util investment.
An immediate response again from EDG to making the right reads in that regard.
Yeah, I think coming out of this tag timeout, it's actually worked against Kaplan. EDG are even happier knowing that there's 4 players committed to A at the beginning of the round.
There's going to be another level to this one. There was a Paranoia and a Prowler used by EDG. Rolling Thunder is earned, and Simon has it primed and ready. Up and over the top. A lot of angles to account for. That is composure from Kang, and he wants to take it one step further still. Defended. Up and over the shoulder. The IGL will put Kang to bed.
EDG, though, have taken so much space. Sen group up, re-clear through spawn. Tens the backstab through waterfall as well.
Unorthodox with the ankle. Nobody. It is aim train to the skies. Yep, that haunt. It still gets the value and still gets the damage done. Chichu can't land it with a spray, but eventually there. Stun still connecting. Sassy now sticking. Defended. Up and around, and Simon's left to do it all from that spot. It's just not possible.
What pace, what aggression from Sen. How does Sassy survive with 5 HP there? Smoggy once more put in a position to win a round for EDG. He's top of the scoreboard, but I think he whiffed his chance again. 120 to the body by the look of things, and Sassy still won the duel. This is what I'm talking about. Can't be allowed to happen. He's got to be winning those kind of fights. Another spot where Sassy comes up huge, and this time opting into the rubble fight on a weaker buy. But Sen don't have the snake bite here. And actually, EDG, right as the barriers drop, start drifting away as well. They don't want any piece of that.
Slower play from EDG is going to be cool. Throw a bit of caution into the mix. There's still danger for EDG, you know, despite the fact that it is a weaker buy. They have 3 rifles.
Absolutely. And if there was a round for Smoggy to find some impact, it would be now with Clovel online.
Double controller tens
Looks like a setup to try to punish people in Mound or B, depending on where Sen take contact first.
Kings, yep, they saw John before he was even aware of the process.
Right there.
Pluck him out of the picture, taking him out with the head. As Paranoia is beautiful, blinding up into this spot. Smoggy is putting the squeeze on alongside Chichu.
I love that read. Smoggy and Chichu there ready to backstab the people trying to punish Mound. EDG, their macro game has been remarkably good these last 5 or so rounds.
Then trying to go for round 2. While this is going on though, it's EDG that somehow has been flipped up against them. With Chichu being dropped, Smoggy now has to contain and contest alongside the flank. Never go around with the door rotating. It's random sprays and rifles. Well trained. EDG, they know what it takes to get the round done, finished, clocked up, and sealed up with every single kill. Sassy scurrying to save the weapon into the next. This is EDG. As I said at the beginning, there was danger with those 3 rifles, and they put them to good usage, put them to good work.
And if Sassy can save this weapon and save his armor, there is a chance that Sen is still going to be able to put together a good buy. That's why it's so important he keeps the Phantom online. EDG have just turned the map, honestly. It looked like Sen were about to put up a decent lead heading into the half, and now 6-6.
Yeah.
More than possible, likely, I think.
Can't argue with EDG's grit, determination here. They lose the opening pistol round, yet still being able to make it even in terms of rounds at the first half.
Yeah, and I think nobody's adaptations have been really solid too. Yeah. The attack timeout that Kaplan took, I think Muggle had more impact.
Isolate and exterminate.
The tempo switch up from EDG, always keeping Sen guessing. Once more, the all in with the util. Burns an all. John is committing this pit.
Okay, interesting play. EDG might want to accelerate here into C. It's only Zelsis. He can pop down the ult, but he might get pressured in waterfall.
Yeah. Nano Swarms could be deaded here. Divides up the site. Retake Viper Wall as well for Sentinel to try and play with. It's a half for EDD to chew through. Zelsis now. Lockdown. It's nothing to really clear this one. You have to take this one. Fighting straight up. Brute force on display. Blinded up though, and the util is overwhelming. Sheer cacophony of it. Nothing to clear it. Respect has to be shown. EDG now have to back away. Cut away with the sound cues. They don't even know if anybody's onto this one, but just peering up and over, spamming away. Still earning their way into a round win. EDG and Kang ahead of the curve, unaccounted for. Up onto the side. That's a 6-6 finish for EDG, despite everything that was against them.
What a comeback! This Chinese squad not going down without a fight. Winning 5 out of the last 6 rounds, and even with Sentinels anticipating that waterfall pressure, EDG have tied it up. Immaculate stuff, setting us up for an electric second half of Haven.
क्या है भाई? क्या है भाई? बोलो. Skyline. Oh, right. यार तू क्या?
खाने की चीज. ये क्या है? स्टार्ट हो गया. Shit.
Soundcue stun was good and stopping them in their tracks. Sentinels cannot cross that line and a barrier just not there for them. Zelsis time against him. And it's of the essence. It needs to be that defense. 4 seconds left. They've got to stick this one. It needs to be covered. Chichu, he wins the day. Donkey T was not there in time. And so EDG with a pistol round to begin the second half of Lotus.
The crowd here certainly believing that it's winnable. That fault line from Simon, superb, coming cross-map to be able to pick it up. Sure, it doesn't actually allow a kill to follow up off the back of it, but it distressed Sen, made them have to hit the C site in a couple of different waves and allowed for easier kills from nobody. Where was John towards the end of that? If he'd been tight with Zelsis, that's clearly a round victory in the pistol.
One has to be accounted for, but oh, Smoggy. I'm expecting that there could be players up in the smoke. The purpose of it, handed over a gun. Simon's good though.
Simon's been asked to do so much in this match, and he's been there for it every time. What a warrior for EDG.
Sit right back as well. A little bit of safety here for EDG, but while all that was going on, they did lose access to most of the map. The rotations that were made, Chichu, tell just from his positioning, he's scared of like an A-lurk, the potential of that.
EDG do not have that Viper to play around, which means no frequent wall or smokes in B. So I think this is going to be a theme of Sen's attack side, looking to see if they can contact up and get picks in this area. They're going to realize no one's home. They don't have smokes to work with themselves, apart from that Viper orb.
Plan here, Junkie T. Sticks it down. Doors open up from Simon, looking to contest as well. He's definitely putting the squeeze on these Sen players.
Cover going out.
As long as there's that caution from EDG, they should be able to find a way through this round here. Kill. And Chichu wins it out. Zekin's quite there. Rapid onto the approach, but right behind him is Kang Kang. Trying to take him out. Pesky problem up through heaven. Tap already, and the movement is nice. Snappy from John, but Simon sticking to defuse. Full confidence in the rest of his team as well to cover that one still. Sen will make it expensive.
But that's the best they're able to accomplish in that round. It does seem like a bit of a weakness, a bit of a gap, and EDG are going to have to do a lot of pivoting on their defense side to reinforce these holes. Smoggy's alone on C. He needs those rotates to come through quickly enough, and all of those rotates are going to come by the fact that EDG is maintaining rubble control. You need deep rubble info to be able to allocate your resources towards the rest of the map. So I would be expecting Sen to try to reclear a bit more heavily in the kind of early to mid round.
Yeah.
And yeah, we haven't seen that from them yet.
That was the kitchen sink thrown out by EDG. JungQT is going to be reading all that util.
Attacking map में attack नहीं हो रहा है.
A little bit of damage there, but
होगा.
It's not permanent.
Sentence के ऊपर भरोसा है तेरे भाई.
There's fear from Sen here. They're worried about a trap play potentially. Celsius one away now from the lockdown. It's one of the things that this EDG comp is good at when you're running the double initiator.
Yeah, they can set up huge traps. But look again, the rubble control is all the way of EDG, and so they can afford to have 2 players C currently.
Deep Haunts. Broken. Kang's position not revealed out through the back there with the door opened wide. Smoke in his face. Bit of anti-synergy perhaps. He was hoping to potentially see some players scattered. With 40 seconds, Sentinel's options are running dry.
They're going to have to go towards B. You can see the pings on the minimap. They're going to make it look like they're re-clearing onto rubble.
And trying to push his players back! What is that from nobody? Close quarters. It's where he thrives. Stinger in hand. A buy round for Sen. Full investment with the rifle. Simon, he's ahead of most of that util, but they're just giving Sentinels a win con and into the round.
Very similar to the prior round here. A 3v4, Sen at a disadvantage. Can they try to make something happen in post plans? EDG need to play tight, together. Chishu, nobody, doubling up.
It's all split up by Sen as well. Everybody's just willing to take their own fights here. The rifle out open, what an adjustment. Nobody snaps to the sides. Dismisses John as easily as that. Sassy is turned to step up, but the movement at charge just makes it so damn awkward. Tens up and ready. Smoke in his face, 60 HP. Not just a tap, it's a full stick as well from Kankan with the smoke as well. The play around comes down to that RNG. And the shot to bullets just not landing for him. EDG, that's now a bonus round conversion into the second half of Lotus.
Yeah.
They've taken control here.
Don't fall down.
Sentinels have only won 1 round out of the last 9. This is dominant from EDG. They got activated halfway through that first half, and now they can't be stopped. The double kill from nobody is absolutely ludicrous. That's the kind of thing that Sentinels cannot afford to happen to them. And I think they've got a major problem here, which is breaking through that rubble control. EDG are allocating 2 players to holding it, one on top of rubble, the other en route, and Sen can't break through. Anytime they put the Viper Wall up in a Prowler, the Prowler's broken too early, there's spam through or some level of defensive utility. They're not taking that area. And they look afraid to opt into the fight at the start of the round. We've seen them default towards C, I think every single round on their attack side so far.
Yeah, they've been trying to apply pressure towards it. Maybe re-explore over towards A, but the trouble is when you're playing against this EDG comp, like Sen are trying to take C, mound control, pressure over towards it, pull rotations potentially. But they're taking too long to do it.
And also their pivots through between B and C are getting slowed down by Simon's utility.
Yeah, it's been
so
pretty
Simon
perfect.
can fault line, and he's been immaculate with those. He can fault line to allow the defense to rotate between B and C quicker than Sen can. Sentinels only bringing Sheriffs into this round. EDG looking to fight them in mound here. Pretty aggressive option to go for on the anti-eco, to be honest.
Sunset तो easy है भाई.
And these massive ultimates for Sen not going to be used in this round unless they find that opening.
This could go wrong very easily. Prowler catches up onto Kang. C's expended. Tens has the TP to evacuate.
And this is a very different look. EDG have been maintaining their macro advantage by being able to hold on to this space here, rubble. And now they've given it to Sen. The rifles should sing, however.
Chishu is the only player locked down on the A. He's called for the reinforcements. Smoggy's going to be joining him. Stray bullet's going to be laid down. Door's broken though. It's a pivot from Sen. Essentially all players trying to make the moves over. Zelsis just a shoulder peeking out, trying to bait this shot. Simon can't maintain it. It's rattled back and forth here, but with the Sheriffs, Sentinels are trying to make this one work. An ultimate pulled out with a nightfall and a flank occurring right from the back. This will put a squeeze onto the remaining Sen players. Up to them to try and bail themselves out with the heroics, and an ult committed. Damage done. Decay is still there. Sassy, weak as anything. The players are rapidly approaching. And they dismantled the hold that Sen were just desperately trying to cling to on the site.
There was a lot of danger there, though. I don't think EDG should be going for that kind of defensive setup too often in the rest of this half, because it did open the door for Sen. A couple of nice shots as well. That one in particular, Sassy finding Kankan. Made the round winnable enough for John to try to invest that pit. But their big ultimates to get into sites yet to be expended. Lockdown, Showstopper. Those are going to be active here for this incredibly pivotal. I was going to say eco swing round, but to be honest, Sen, with the loser's bonus, they're still going to be able to buy up into the next. I still expect them to treat this one as if it's mightily important, though, and stop EDG getting to 11. EDG leaving A utterly open.
Gone for a fight, though. Zelsis has been caught by this. The stun is perfect. Kankang is right there. Up onto it. Paranoia slightly misses. Ults are expended. Ults are committed. And EDG have put everything into this. But they topple. They fall. Crumbled from the util in a hold of Sentinels. It's discipline that reins them in.
EDG, after the TAC timeout, have tried to change their defensive setups. Anything that they've gone for that was different to what they opened with has failed. And this is nice pressure. It's just keeping Simon anchored to the A site. Does it pull Smoggy away? No, he's going to read this.
Still at that angle. It's a brutal one to take. Crosshair placement, many angles it could be peeked from, but Smoggy feeling like he has to take it at that point.
And I think Sen will be super happy about this result. A 4v1 that Simon is not going to find winnable. And Sen still have huge ults to work with. And as you pointed out earlier, Simon, he ripped that one off. They really wanted to show a different tempo on the defense side. Catch Sen unaware before they could get into position to use lockdown shows some of these kind of ults. It didn't work. The threat is actually being worse than the threat of the showstopper and the lockdown here is causing more problems for EDG than the ults themselves.
Right.
Because it's forcing them to feel like we have to go and take the fight. We have to change something up.
Be proactive, pull the ults out early.
And the proactivity is not working. Sen's protocols are looking lovely to defeat it.
It's handed Sen that 7th round here. They're still down by 3 for EDG.
It's a bit of a whiff from Kankan as well to open the round up.
Yeah.
You see there the mountain pressure and then open the door, punish the B players. All of the protocols there working really nicely for Sen. And they do have a massive ult advantage now. So EDG, they might still feel like they have to play proactively. Because otherwise, what do you really have to stop these ults from getting value and getting at a site?
Yeah, look at the minimap, EDG. 4 players moved up right and over. Simon priming the fault line. Gonna let it loose relatively early there just to set up Kankang onto the line. And Tens accounted for, spotted onto the corner. Here's the response. Showstopper to Shays and claims Smoggy. Couldn't bound and bounce his way out of the fight. 4 versus 4.
And that early proactivity, though, means that EDG had to give up rubble. So now Sen, 4v4, like you said, but they have control over Mound and front B and rubble. They own the map.
Toxin screen down.
John just trying to tether those players over towards the A side as well. That's the Sentinels. Creeping and crawling their way over towards the B side, now committing into this plan. They're going to hear these noise cues. EDG are relatively split apart. They're actually not connected.
You could kind of say the same for Sentinels, though. Zeken's going to back off. If he was playing that post plant on site, he would have been very isolated. So John being disconnected on the lurk was critical in terms of how they lost the pistol round.
Fault line used here. Simon's position. They're going to know this is online. Lockdown has to be defended as well. Stuns, Ricochet in second. Couldn't hold a candle to it. Kankang's there, spraying, spamming, praying that they can do it. But they can't break the lockdown in time. respect has to be shown. Time starting to tick. Simon was to increase the heat. The tempo there for it, just making sure he's the distraction already, but a circle shrinks. Time escapes EDG into that spot. All goes wrong with no way to clear that lockdown.
They did actually do enough damage to break the lockdown as well. Really bizarre interaction. It said 0 players detained and lockdown broken at the same time.
Wow.
But the thing that had happened was it was way too late. I mean, the setup for that, it's in such a safe position. You got no chance of being able to break it in enough time to pull off the retake there. I can't did what he could, but it just ended up being far too overpowering, that ult advantage. And now, when EDG can play a little more reserved, a little more focused on denying rubble control, a little more like they did in rounds 13, 14, 15, well, now they don't have the weaponry behind it.
No, it's difficult. Put some partial investment into it with nobody rifle in hand. He's dropped down to 300 credits, but Sentinels, they catch most of the signs of life, and now they want to send it out towards this C. Our players ready to play spoiler. Waterfall not being cleared. Prowler, second level of things. Kang taking a peek, overdrive, it's there, and a Nightfall committed. Sen feeling awkward, shaky territory. Open angles not presented to Kang. He can't be collecting any of these kills, and the C's dodged in the moment. Still another tap, Sassy. He's waiting for round 2. Smoke to try and play themselves in and cut up the side. One from Tens himself, realizing they've lost control of most of this one. 50 seconds left, stun, in for the back, nobody, just can't land it. Shots going wide, up and around, second high ground angle. That slight pause that Sentinels are willing to place into the round. It's enough for EDD to just overextend themselves enough. Hand getting slapped right back.
Phenomenal patience from Sentinels. I don't think they had a way out of that to actually get the plant down if EDG continued to hold in the spots that they were in. But they baited out. As you said, that slight overextension from the retakers. And at that point, it's an eco advantage. Sen have brought this one back really nicely. The gap has closed to 1. But this next round, round 20, is going to be where EDG can try to fight back. Yes, nobody's hurt the economy for himself a little bit, but the rest of the players are going to have rifles in hand. There's no big ultimates available for Sentinels to disrupt things and give them easy openings to the site.
GG can drop the rifle too.
Right. So heading into round 20, this is where Sen are back to the same question that flummoxed them at the start of this half. How do you break through without having to rely on ults? EDG are going to take a tactical timeout.
Enemy remaining.
Just be calling as well for a return to what was working for them.
They could be, but at the same time, when you take that timeout, it implies to me like you're going to try to mix something up. And just as we saw on that timeout in the first half of Lotus, where Kaplan hit the panic button and it actually favored Muggle, this could be another situation actually where you're giving time for Sen to come up with their own adjustment. And try to get ahead of what EDG might be doing.
Exactly right. 0 timeouts left for Sentinels here, so it could be that lifeline that's just given up to them.
is not listening. Who is bottom fragging? Just let me know.
This is the way that the ults play on Lotus now.
I know who is bottom fragging right now.
Back on.
Who the hell it is?
Another situation.
Yeah, let me know.
Sen have brought this for himself a little bit. For Sentinel. Same question. Out having to take a
calling as well for a return to what was.
One bottom second. Tense.
On the minimap as well, looks like early signs that we will be seeing that.
Yeah, but at the same time, with the fade util by the look of things. Now there is a haunt lineup you can throw.
Celsius!
But you're not going to get anything else.
Huh?
Yeah, nobody's gearing up for it. Okay, so they're going to throw the haunt lineup there over towards A. I can feel like it's super heavy pressure. And we're back to what looks like kind of similar stuff at the start of this half.
Yeah.
Rerun of round 15.
Back to where we landed. Smoke to cover. But over the top here, nobody's off angle. Simon takes the peek here, bullet to the brain, but luckily the wall saves his life. Keeps him kicking into the round.
See that Zelsis was anticipating the second player. He thought he was getting pushed in the moment. As soon as he spots Simon, he's worried that the stack is on B, and he would be right to think that. So now Sen are going for a re-clear, and this time, nobody's home. The stuff that was working for EDG, setting up aggressively, denying this space. They've abandoned it.
It's up to Chichu and Simon. Only 2 players sitting here. Reinforcements are called for.
Smoke. Ankara tense.
Towards A, but a door's in his face.
Do EDG go for some kind of quick retake as Sen get into sight? They got the pace to do it.
Yeah, most of it's going to be fading as well. Chichu does have that open access. Door's going to be broken down. Kang he's already ripped this one away, but it's traded. In kind. Tens is there. Satchel play. Beautiful. Tracking. Chichu's there. Aware of the fact that there could be that second player. And drops Tens out of action. 18 seconds left. TP forwards. That is crazy stuff by Chichu, but honestly, the pressure, it's all on Sassy. Reload committed, side by side. Needs to play this one in, but the rest of his team accounted for, but time against him. It's only 4 seconds left, and at this point, it's against them. They realize it. EDG backing away. Nobody just has to survive, and it's a round win for EDG up to 11.
Another situation where Celsius has to watch the round slip through his fingers. Situation where Celsius has to watch the spacing problem here. Tens isn't inside the smoke as Zekken goes through it. They're worried about somebody having dominated it prior, and so Tens can't quite swing through to trade that kill. It becomes very difficult for the superstar duo to get going. EDG make their way up to 11. This map is so winnable to push us to Sunset.
I would love for the Sunset to be the case. EDG have looked pretty good on the map in the past.
Both teams have. It will be another bang.
It's the door opened up by Sen, looking to clear most of the way. Front section of B. Hoping they can pull players back and over as well. The re-clears over towards A. Not being great from Sen.
They've been great when players have contested it, and now EDG are. They've got fault line paranoia here. It should be very difficult for Sassy to even fake like they're taking this space.
Usually Sassy's going to be trying to lead this one in with a Prowler in hand. It's util used by nobody. Gets acknowledgement over towards C. The horn wasn't broken. They know there's a player now. Out towards the back of the site. The snake bite flying up and over. Chichu, no choice now but to back away. Simon. He's here to save the day for him though. Still holding on to control of this one, and seems like the read is right there for EDG.
But Sen also know there's no paranoia, no fault line, none of that business to stop them getting into the C site.
It's down to Smoggy. He's holding it down towards the back! Beaming him down. Still got the ult as well. It's not dead yet. Nobody up and over the top punish onto Tens. Nana Swarms shredding them to pieces onto the back of the side here, but as the smokes dissipate, Smoggy is alive and ready to deny the entirety of the round. And Sassy once more time, drifting away. It's a 12th round now for EDG. They can taste it. They're on the brink. It's match point, and it will send them to Sunset.
The way in which EDG are holding on to these sites, it is beautiful. There needs to be a bit more coordination though between Zekken and Tens to get in. But look at these layers of defensive utility being used there. The stun that comes through from Kang is so important. Stop all of those players that would love to trade from following up through the choke point. 3 chances to close things out before overtime. A massive rubble fight.
Yeah, and this could just be an explosive finish to the map here for Sentinels, opting into it. The haunt is dropped and broken.
One of the first times that Sen have actually fought over this at the start of the round. They push EDG back. They're not willing to go much further. Zekken didn't manage to get up and pick up that ult orb. Now they're looking for the one over towards C. Smoggy's aim has been remarkably good after a bit of a drought on Haven. But all right, Showstopper acquired. There's that major tool that powered Sen to most of their wins in this half. It was ults-based.
Kang! Almost there, the crosshair placement wasn't, but still he snaps it back. Well aligned, accounting for everybody!
Spike down A.
And Sen just cannot hold against it. Showstopper now used as desperation. Following the traces, Zekken takes the gamble. But all that play, all that work, it's an ult expended. to no avail. Zelsis dropped.
We're going to map 3.
The options are withering away for EDG. They can feel it, they know it. Sunset is ready and waiting. It's primed for them here. Nightfall scatters, Tens is low, no more sound cues to work off of. Haunt lights him up. The TP to adjust, but again, he's no long for the world. Second, last one left. They cannot dodge this util. EDG are ready to swarm, ready to collect. It'll take a miracle to stop it at this point. They are not ready to let it happen. EDG
Map 3, no worries, guys.
will not be denied a chance for greatness.
It was a bit of a nervous, timorous opening for EDG on Haven, but they dismissed that and found the fire in their bellies. They're willing to go forwards to Sunset.
It's a good map for both of the teams as well. I mean, if these two maps have been anything to really judge these teams off of as well, back and forth, it's anyone's game, it's still here.
Haven, but they dismissed that and found the fire in their bellies. They're willing to go forwards to Sunset.
It's a good map for both. For a minimum top 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 남자답게 You wanna fight, you wanna fight 내 거 넌 보면 뒤져 나 착해 보여도 피하지 않아 I see 16 bars 구철낸 김봐요 나 해본 바로 못해 인기가요 내 태도 motherfucker 나 몰랑 motherfucker 어쩔 나 move motherfucker 7 느끼는 원 heaven 피우 대신 치우 가끔 치우 대신 피우 고루 배분
शापा नाचिया नहीं तो स्ट्रीम पे इज्जत करो जल्दी
씨발 알고 말해 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
ऐसा नहीं सामिया नाच जल्दी नाच जल्दी नाच पतली कमरिया मोरे हाय हाय ठुमके मार बे ठुमके तो नाच नाच
EDG brings it right back, and we're going to map 3, folks. Exactly what we felt like could very well happen, given the level of play that we've been seeing from both of these teams. But my goodness, was EDG absolutely lights out on Lotus. Excellent stuff.
You look at that first half and it looked like Sentinels had it in the bag. An excellent defense,
they started
put them at advantage.
Yes,
but then EDG in the second looked out of this world. The side anchors in particular, Smoggy holding things down on C, round after round, showing some real resiliency to stay in this upper bracket.
And we were talking about it, right? That not having maybe that extra bit of utility, having to play more for the kills and actually for looking those duels instead of just stopping them. Actually, them gaining a lot of momentum momentum and capitalizing on the mistakes that Sen were committed. And also when we go into that second half, Sentinel's running out of time in so many of this situation.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of these big plays that we were seeing, and honestly, you get yourself, into that next half by going tied 6-6. Okay, you're looking pretty solid, but what really impressed me, that defensive side, absolute shutdown. They could not get presence in rubble whatsoever. They were just getting dominated every single time. Like pretty much any extremity on the map, Mimi, they were being met with the full force of EDG.
Yeah, Sen kept trying to go for these early defaults towards C Mountain, and they were getting that space pretty often. But this A control was such a tough nut to crack. The only time they were really getting that space was these late round re-pushes, and then when they were going for the executes at the end of the round, EDG did such a great job of conserving the right pieces of utility, and also having the right reads to set up and shut down in those critical site execs where one kill, one death will make the difference between staying in this upper bracket or going down below and having to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, we're talking about top 3. It's actually we're talking about a top 3 potentially for EDG. If they're able to carry on that momentum, Simon was having such a game. Him finding a couple of kills at the beginning of so many rounds just so easily and throwing things off. It's very surprising to see that, especially after having that first loss in the map that they chose.
Communicate in English easily.
Now thinking about the next
Use Grammarly and feel confident with effective
the second part of that head-to-head on the Neon.
And honestly, when I looked at the series layout and we got it in, I honestly felt as if this was anyone's game because it felt like everyone got what they wanted. Look, EDG, no slouches on Lotus, same thing for Sentinels. There were no slouches on Haven, same thing for Sentinels. I mean, like Mimi, this game has been everything. And what's fascinating about Kong in this particular situation, he was more of a setup and get the job done kind of guy because he was actually at the bottom of the leaderboard for his team coming out of Lotus, but he was such an impact player.
He had a lot of impact rounds, but I think him not having an outstanding map as an individual is the reason why this win is all the more impressive. If you think back to EDG's previous top finishes, when they had their breakout tournament at Masters Tokyo, that was defined by EDG. The casters were talking about it. Kong having one of the best individual opping performances we have ever seen, maybe ever, at a global event, especially since the Chamber meta. It was the best we've had. This has not been about him. This run at Champions has been about the team, has been about them stepping up their macro, has been about them showing stellar mid-rounding despite coming into this tournament with a brand new IGL and a new rookie player on the initiator role. And they have looked good. If they are to win this final map and make their first ever top 3, I think this is the proof that China's not just a region about star individuals anymore. They have the talent, the skill, and the strategy to beat the best in the world.
Yeah, and think about also what they did in Lotus, like Smoggy playing on C. Most of the things that we were seeing has been things that we have seen from EDG in the past. It's not like they reinvented themselves. I think that they were just going on with the idea of keep everything in the strats that we have, and that is exactly what they need for Sunset. I think that they need to polish a lot of things. Yes, Kong being set up is very, very good, but what happens if he has the same performance that he's been having here on Lotus? Are they going to be able to step up to keep having that individual performance and just swapping up the plans so it's not that Kong dependent?
And it would be an amazing moment for EDG. But to flip the script for Sentinels, everyone was talking about how back they were, how good they looked in their early stages, debuting in these playoffs after winning Masters Madrid, not even making it to Shanghai, and now coming back here and looking in a form that it seems achievable to lift another trophy, to go down to the lower bracket here, have to run that gauntlet again. That would make the chances of repeating a trophy for TenZ to pick up his third so much more difficult.
It would be an absolute story, but either way you shake it, you got an EDG that once would come into these global events as wide-eyed, plucky, ambitious youths that wanted to, push the boundaries, see how far they could go. Now this is a squad that can comfortably contend for championships. I personally feel that way. And then for Sentinels on the other side, they've been there, they've done that. They won Madrid. They see themselves, potentially, lifting a trophy one more time. But the problem is that you're going into a Sunset that is genuinely good for both teams. Both teams this is like I said it at the beginning. You go right in the middle of the ring. You throw a couple left hooks, a couple right hooks. It's a boxing match. That's what you want to see here at Kukuka. You do not want to see.
Of course you make that reference.
You got it. Sometimes, you know,
Let's
maybe I'll do a little wrestling reference. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring. But here we go. Now we're going to see things locked in, and we're right back to that neon duel that we saw at the beginning of the series.
I'm thinking about Sentinels. I'm thinking about Zek, and I know that we talked about it. The impact that he was having with the operator made DRX sweat, and they need to make EDG sweat if they want to take this and continue on that upper bracket.
Similar comps. Biggest difference here is the KO versus the breach. Sen is going to have a lot of set stuff. Zekin following up of Zelsis' stuns. EDG, however, is going to have a lot of information. The cross-map knives, the flash combos with that Sova as well can be really potent. They're both knives. The flash combos with that Sova as well can be really potent. They're both good comps. Both DC
pushes forward to the Inspire Arena. Let's go ahead and find out. Send it back over to your casters one last time. It's Bren and Sideshow.
That's exactly the case. It's the Inspire Arena. Shift the move as well as they fight for that trophy, but I think one of these teams is going to be able to earn that chance to even get to that point. Of course, there will be backup plans, I guess. You want to run it through the lower bracket, I suppose. Listen, Sentinels have been there before, but it's not a position you want to put yourself in.
It makes a massive difference. Whoever wins this match, not only are you playing for all of that glory, you have 5 days off to prep and to ante, to get that break that I'm sure both of these squads desperately need. Here on Sunset, we've seen some excellent performances from both of these squads.
And slow and steady to begin. Chichu going to be hearing most of his presence, but he hears no footsteps off the back of it. He might just think it's... Yeah, false presence at that still. It's going to be Util being used to try and bail him out. It's Kang sends it flying with the rally bolt here. Stuns flying. Okay, with the right clicks as well. No kills to be earned. And a quick pivot over towards Market.
They were not expecting to see Zelsis here.
Up through the gut. EDG paving the way over towards the A site. John QT is going to be a lot asked of him. Smoggy is way ahead of the rest of most of his team. In fact, through the cage, almost claiming a second. But eventually put him down and out. Sitting back to the spectator seat. It's an open A site now for the plant. Simon commits to this one, but 4 players alive as Sen and A are grouped up with that pack mentality. Emphasis being placed now on Chichu. Second is low enough. He takes that first point, and precision is just unreal. Zelsis barely keep it all together. Dropped down to 48 health. A dart, a flash, all expended into his face, but the job is done. Chichu's done enough. Time taken away. The nade at the feet, isolating the fights away. It's getting tested. It's getting stretched, and nobody takes precisely the right moment to rip away another pistol round.
It looked so dangerous for EDG when Kang made the hero play, trying to cut off the rest of the people in Boba, and Smoggy gets isolated. Both trying to be the heroes their team needed, and it was Chichu that stepped up for 3. He's so solid in these positions. And it has been that supporting class, I think, today. Chichu, Simon, who've been coming up big in moments to put huge rounds on the board. And that's a major one. EDG's attack side actually looked a little bit limper than I was expecting it to against Trace. They almost allowed Trace to make a bit of a comeback. And Sen were kind of slow to adapt on their defense side as well. When we flip halves, you're getting the best of both teams. But for this one, the door's open for somebody to make an improvement over what we saw previously and run away with things.
Take the initiative, take the lead so far, TVG. Not feeling pushed back, honestly, from all the signs of life. I mean, the knife earlier on did tag onto a bunch of the Sen players. They know that they're stacking still. EDG not willing to be removed from this, but they still have about 50 seconds to work with. So, okay, fault line, refight, out and through with the horns into the back, but they don't really have the guns for the job. Chichu can just sidestep most of this. Sen are going to try and dish it out still with these pistols. Tens alive, Sassy follows up, blind. It's a bit delayed and late here from Smoggy. They still want to get active though.
They know that everybody's here. They should be leaving. They should have left ages ago. And now when they finally make the maneuver, Tens is already reading it. He's already in front of them. That could have been a freebie.
Could have been 11.5. He's waiting. Precisely the strike where it hurts most. Smoggy dropped down and forced to watch in horror as his team and the rest of the round getting let loose and slipping from their grasp. The plant, I mean, it has to be a safe one from Simon. Tucks it into the back. Sassy trying to get ahead of it. Seeking to delay. He knew the time pressure was of most of importance, but Celsius has been brought into it now, a 1v2. Maybe the nerves can be settled for EDG.
He's had so many chances today, Celsius.
And EDG do not let the round get away from them.
That one was so dangerous. I don't understand the EDG game plan there over in B main. You mentioned it right from the beginning. They knew that there was a stack, and they just wanted to punish it, get the free kills on this side of the map, I guess. Maybe worried because they weren't running that 4-1 default that they usually like to go for, but they didn't have info elsewhere. And I mean, this spot, Tens tucked in that corner, could have been more dangerous than it even was.
Yeah,
they've done damage here, Sentinels, to the EDG economy. So there's a bit of an advantage early on, but you still need to convert rounds.
EDG going to be looking, see if they can convert round 3. Of course, the weaponry not going to be ideal because of how many players they did end up losing. Shock darts don't actually break any of this util.
One of the problems that I was having with the way that Sen were playing on this map, they were playing very passive holds on the B site.
Oh, the counting for John.
That's nasty.
Barely peeking out from the pillar, nobody will punish. Born in through the back though, that is a response by Second. He's put some more damage and herd into these EDG players still out through mid. G2 attempting to pluck some of these players out of the picture. Tens still holding. And the rifle aim is dead. Not enough to escape though. Ghost. The supplement of the fire by Smoggy does manage to trade that one out. Nade, it's out, but it does miss. Off to the side, Sassy sticking. Anything else to push this one back needs to be defended. Second, he can't really let this one loose. Still, it's half already onto the board. And the mid flanks and a fight from main. Damage is done. Value gain, potentially a round win at that fight. Forced out, Second with a tap, but he is traded in the end. Nobody. Bulldog primed onto it.
Yeah, with the light weaponry. Bulldogs, Guardians, EDG win a bonus. This is a massive beginning to the map. EDG knocking the economy immediately of Sen. The opener, huge. John wasn't really contesting like that in the previous match when we saw them play from Sunset. But Tens also getting caught in mid is so rough for a player that's been spectacular. He just only expected the single mid lurk, which is pretty reasonable, but getting caught in that spot allowed Smoggy to sneak in.
It is a dream opening for EDG.
Couldn't ask for better.
It's all about keeping it moving, keeping it going.
And they've turned it around massively from the kind of opening they had on Haven. But they lost 7 rounds in a row after Pistol.
Resilience is showcased. EDG willing to take a step back here, but Kang might be regretting that one. Offset here, overdrive is available. Flash through into the back. Now Simon looking to hold his own ground against this. Smoke dominated, nobody still trying to command that position. But he falls, Simon will have to retreat now. His back's against the wall, Smoggy defending at least a portion of it. Aftershock into the corner. Tenuous here for EDG, but they still have those rifles. It's going to be a big advantage working potentially for them. Picked up with the upgrades. John QT fires straight back at them. And the bait and switch leaping into the fight. Taking no prisoners. Sentinels really had no right winning that.
Complete MasterCard Thrifty coming out from Sen. Tens on the high ground with a Sheriff. Pops off a beautiful opener to deny Kang. And from there, that first pick, creating opportunities for Zekken to go forwards, allow others to pick up rifles.
Way to play.
The Neon once more forging a path forwards.
Can I have a phone number?
And just like that, Sen back in a little bit of control here. It's only nobody that can afford to be able to get a rifle online. The ults are good from EDG, and I'm sure they'd invest if they got the opportunity. This is more what Sen were doing on their defense side, though, last we saw them. 4-player stacks on the A side, leave 1 person B. it was very easy for their opponents to just waltz into the B site and take that room.
Yeah, market splits were deadly when DRX were playing against them.
Absolutely.
Up through mid 2. You might see some adjustments. I mean, we already kind of are seeing evidence of it, I suppose.
We are, yeah.
Trip up top section of mid, so nobody really has to watch it. They've got a cam laid in market to take the contact of this one. They spot him, nobody. Past it.
The cam's always going to get cleared there because people are always watching for tens on top of the box.
Yeah, it's a spot that he loves.
And this time, it's the same kind of hole in Sen's defense. And so that means that they're forced to play a lot of B retakes.
There's danger here.
There is, even with full rifles for Sentinels, there is danger because these B-lane post plants are so overpowered on Sunset.
I mean, nobody's got an ult. He's already getting into position. Be able to play this one. And Sen don't have a lot of time to work with. Kill trips. Chewing up these players, rooted into spot from Sentinels. They've got to find a way to navigate it. Sassy, diffusing, sticking, reveal up, Hunter's Fury, Sassy! My God! It's down to the wire, down to the brink, happened! But Zelsis is the last chance for him! The gang will not let it slip.
EDG answer back instantly with another thrifty of their own. Barely any weaponry brought into that round. And that's exposed a gaping hole in what Sentinels are doing on this map on their defense side. I said both of these teams have put up really strong performances on Sunset before. That's once the halves flip. And we see EDG defending, Sen attacking. This is not good enough from Sen if they want to be able to get that 5-day break and head up into the upper bracket.
Bar for bar with a worse and weaker weaponry. Each turning themselves around here. Now Sen are in that tough position. They've still managed to scramble together some sort of a buy, but down 3 rounds, EDG got their sights set on the finish line in this series. Breaking past their prior performances and ceilings.
Applying a little bit of mid pressure here. EDG are the kind of team on their attack side that will pressure the very top of mid. Look to try to lure Kang in or see if they can pull off Shishu, finding some space, contesting where Zelsis is currently stood. So you can understand why Sentinels still have 3 players in kind of passive positions towards top mid here. Is anyone going to be able to control the backside of B?
Not playing the Cypher offside, John QT. They get caught. No command emanating out, that means the trips go online too. They were hoping to play some kill trip setups as well.
And they drop off. Tens was thinking about trying to get into backside there, and the rest of his team wasn't willing.
Once more, Sen are going to be tested. This time, we're trying to hold on for these retakes as well. Nobody. The first point of contact. Moves the one, the trade online out of Nightfall. Scatters his way through, in through the main angle. Noise. Cut away. Zekin with the defuse, but he's pushed back from some form of the util. Overdrive popped off. Kang! Goodness me! Tears them to pieces. TP up and over. Tens that is precise. And he's got to be keen, surgical, whipping his way through and behind. He's going to try and defend this one. John QT brought down, but a half earned. There's a chance and a potential. G2 flips the sight. And all expectations once more. Sen just too slow with his retake attempts. And EDG are so willing to run rings around them.
Not just too slow, but far too passive. Again, the same problem that we witnessed last time when Sen played against DRX. They're just giving the site for free. It's free plants over here on B. We set it up, this half was going to be an opportunity for either team to grasp hold early and come out with either prep or individual form to be able to run away with this first half. And the story's going to flip once we go into round 13, but for now, EDG are building up a phenomenal advantage. A 5-1 lead. At no point really in this match have we seen EDG in complete control. Even on Lotus, there were moments of it, but Sen always found ways of striking back. This feels very different.
Dominance calls into question as well. You know, how much can you correct from one match to the other? Sen, it's been astounding, I think, the work that they put in to shore up their map pool and their own, I suppose, form coming into the event, because like we said at the beginning of this series, at the beginning of this event, I mean, it was looking poor from them. They just weren't looking like they were in a trophy lifting form. This, though, from EDG, they spotted the weaknesses. And they have called into question whether or not Sen can shore up the gaps that were on display that were pried open by DRX.
But I also think if you're going to make that argument that Sen, their form didn't look great and it's good what they've done to shore up the map pool, Sunset was actually always towards the top of their map pool. And it has been all year. So the fact that this is now the map causing them problems, going to be disappointing. Looking to try to catch Chishu off guard there early on. He does sometimes default in that bottom spot. But EDG are fast with the help and quick with the escape.
And all it takes is a slow default.
Take flight.
Make sure nobody oversteps themselves. Drawn by nobody.
And a reclear through B main here as well. Looking to try to put pressure once again onto Chishu.
Zekun.
Spot on the one, shock dance flying forwards. Again, the setup is not over towards that direction, but a fight one out with Sassy dropped. Open access now towards the A site.
A sharp from Smoggy.
Kill trips though. Doesn't have the gun for the job, it's just damage. Chews up Kang. Not enough to deliver the kill. John QT's gonna be kicking himself.
There are isolated players around here. Nobody's isolated. Chishu is as well, but they're getting good lurk timing.
Yeah, great lurk timings at that. The trade might be a little bit more impressive there from Zelsis. The fact that he does that with the classic in hand, but he won't be able to get much more. Done from the edge. I mean, Zekken glides, hoping to use the precision. Maybe land a kill there, but it's all being covered.
Kang picks up 10s in mid and picks up the 6th on the board for EDG. But the tactical timeout that Sen took, the panic button that Kaplan hit, was for this round coming up, round 8. It wasn't for the Thrifty particularly. So what is the change up here? How are they going to adjust their defensive setups? Personally, I'd like to see 10s posted on the A line. You have an Omen with outrageous gun skill, and you're not playing him on an aggressive line towards A regularly, if at all. He tends to be over towards market, and you leave that job to like Sassy with the Prowlers. It's quite backwards compared to how most teams are doing it. They're going to get Zekken posted there as well, and he's mighty fierce.
And this is the typical setup. Sentinel's going for it. They have everything to watch market or top mid. This was getting exploited towards the end of the map by DRX when Sentinels were going up against them.
And I said that EDG love doing this kind of thing. Probing, seeing if they can get Kang or Chishu into this kind of spot. Does Sen deal with it?
Zelsis is in position. It's going to be a fault line off the back of that with Zekken, I should say. Collecting that first kill. No noise made.
I mean, they can hear the neon through spawn.
From EDG's part of things, Kang punishes it. All the footsteps pointing towards it. Rolling Thunder is to try and shore up, stem the bleeding.
Yeah,
stop it in its tracks.
You can't follow up on that. That's just to stop EDG from running away with the round. That's purely for map control, the breach ult.
It just feels frantic from Sentinels at this point.
But at least TenZ is in an anchor position. They're actually looking to hold back B site this time.
Paranoia swoops its way forwards here. There's 38 seconds to play with. Only mid-control for EDG.
And nobody's calling a pivot back to the A side, putting stress on Sassy. He's still got Horn, sees, ways of slowing this down.
Sassy will be in hot water. Now to him, the util, the gun into his hand, whether or not he can push this back. Dodging, sidestepping, most of the util gives up access to the site, but as long as he hold on to elbow control, and he can't even do that. Chichu comes around the corner like an absolute Ferrari. Celsius will punch it right back. Kang flatlined and dropped. 3 versus 3 is where we stand. The pressure now onto Sen for this retake, all grouped up. Cam broken. Nobody noted. Smoke in their faces, spamming, spraying away, trying to pave the way to success for Sentinels. They need RNG on their side. Only the one, and they're just getting collected, corralled into the corner.
7-1 devastation for Sentinels. EDG were forced to actually mid-round in this round. They were forced to make the correct decision and pivot. They weren't just given a free B plant. And this showcases that they're capable of still winning, even if Sen make the right adjustments. Even if Sen shore up that B defense and don't just play retake the whole time. Nobody's calling. And it's frightening, he's 11 and 4. Taking them through and sailing them to clear waters. Sen have got another chance here, another rifle round before their economy is smashed against the rocks again. But it almost seems too far gone at this point. It would have to be an outrageous comeback. Almost all 4 rounds, really.
It's evident, I think, from the second timeout being used by Sen.
Yeah, and that's very similar to what they did on Lotus. They burnt through both of their timeouts in the first half very early on, and they weren't able to close things out towards the end, even after they rallied a little.
To speak on EDG, this is a team that feeling downtrodden, I think, off the back of the international events of this year. They saw other teams in their own region even overtaking them, going to greater heights than them at these tournaments. But this is validation and vindication almost as well for this squad, as we've already been mentioning. EDG have only ever known these 5-6 finishes as the peak of international play. A win here not just sails them forwards deeper in through that upper bracket, but it grants them one of the highest finishes at minimum that they've ever had at a global international tournament.
And the more they win like this, the more you believe that they can go further.
How far can they go? Sky might be the limit for this squad. For now, all the question leveled at Sentinels of whether or not they can stop this EDG squad, who are just empowered, fired up, resilience on full display from steamrolling over them.
The change up here in the defensive setup is not large, but they've tucked Tens and John QT into market, anticipating a B split. And it does look like that's what EDG are cooking up.
I'm spotting it. Fault line slowing them down here. It's a refight called Sentinels. They want to get straight into the fight. Clash called for, and 1 out. Kankang might have something to say about it. Brings it to the 2 versus 3. Spike still dropped down to the bottom section. The squeeze of Sen, they have full control over towards mid. Will take heroics, and with the damage done, weakened up, Kankang cannot stand against most of it. Nobody. Trying to play bait and switch as well, taking that fight. Back step in, hoping he can isolate at least one of them, but the crossfire setup should be intact. Foolproof from Sentinels at this point as well. Baits that peak. Seeing if he can spot these players out. Finally, Zekken will take the fight anyway.
And so Sen finds some success coming out of that tag timeout. The adjustment didn't look enormous, so EDG went into it thinking same old, same old. But a great call there from Zekken and Zelsis. Instead of holding it top mid passively, they throw some utility in and crunch mid, finding tons of EDG players that turned into corpses there.
We're back, we are back.
We are back.
Let's get 5,
yeah, we are back.
If they were able to get 5, they certainly would be back.
Morale though, high spirits from the Sentinels players. Handshake with a util.
We are back.
Either side really taking too much space.
And the same defensive setup again. John, Tens in market.
Nobody ever reclear, Zekken.
That is difficult to do. The box is super spammable. Hard to get out in that kind of area, but Zekken barely takes a tickle.
Util being used, including the flash as well. It's a pretty big indicator to EDG. Most of the players stacked over from Sen over towards A main. And surely they don't overstep themselves. They're going for another fight as well. Contact plays on contact plays.
A massive fight in A. EDG are trying to make it feel like they're in mid and bait out this reclear from Sen.
And they're just holding for the peak. What Util did even have? Contact cord as well. Full line is late. Celsius. Util doesn't help him. It's EDG with the initiative in that fight. And with it,
we are back. We are
sit
back.
down and stare at it, but it's a 5 versus 2 scenario. Sentinels have no real chance back into this round.
Their economy is not in a terrible spot. If Tens and John were any closer to the action, they might give it a try. But EDG have outplayed them again. The story of this half early on was Sen giving away too many opportunities, but now that they're playing a little bit of a better game, EDG are just pulling it back out of their grasp. The call in there from nobody is so strong. Faking like they're doing the same stuff. Throwing that same market util. And John, he is not holding on to this weapon. He's got players behind and in front. They're going to drain every last drop out of the Sen economy. Austerity is here, and it's coming for Sen.
I don't want to hear that.
EDG are playing a beautiful game right now on their attack side.
It is. That's really great.
I don't think we're getting the best out of Sen. He is not holding on to this weapon. He's got players behind and in front to adapt. They are trying to throw in different things. And EDG, it only takes them one moment, and they've figured out a counter to it.
Yeah.
They're playing Sen like a fiddle.
And at this point, it's like an avalanche crashing down onto the Sentinel squad. They have to go for, again, proactivity. But Paranoia just plays straight through main, and it immediately diffuses all that tension, the play that Sentinels were going for to see if they can collect a kill.
The defensive util has been remarkably good from EDG today. Always there with Kang stun to stop aggression like that. Paranoia too. They're the team that doesn't have breach, so they don't have the fault line or the aftershock. You might think they'd be weak to plays like that, but look, they found the gap again.
Yeah, it's another read. As soon as they hear that the Neon's in through mid being played into that, they know that they're not going for the typical A main hold that Sentinels like to do. They know that they're going to be playing offside, trying to go for the retakes. So EDG can take their time with it, contact most of the way. The trips will not be oh, as I say that, I wasn't expecting them to get Valley. They spotted them out onto the corner. Still John takes down Smoggy, drops him to the floor.
Spike planted.
So overall coming through onto these guys. Look at those pings. Look at the angle that nobody's going to have.
And they're ready to fight this one right as the retake is occurring. Tags up into a few of these players. Hunter's Fury has to be dodged and juked and avoided. Let's skip rope over it. Kang though, still here. Chichu takes up the space, stands tall, stands strong, and will not be denied anything at all. It's a monstrous performance from many individuals on EDG, but full credit to the entirety of this squad.
Every part of their game is on today. The players are stepping up. This match, Chishu's come out of nowhere to just be outrageous. The prep work too. The
so
calling
good
from nobody. It looked like a very rough beginning to today. If you had only been paying attention to the first map, certainly the first half of the first map, you'd be thinking, uh-oh, EDG.
Yeah.
They've beaten some weaker opponents, some struggling opponents, but Sen are here to shut them down. Well, that story has changed massively over the course of this match. They're dominating Sunset.
Just one more round left in the half. That's all Sen have to work with, and it's the difference between 9-3 or 10-2. Either way you slice it is bad.
Zelsis has his ult online. It looks like they want to play a more aggressive defensive B.
Oh, trying to send it. As soon as Simon uses his ult, that's the trigger to try and slow them down, but there will be no follow-up. And Chichu, my God! This guy, he won't be denied. Playing in through Kang. He's hungry for more. There's blood in the water sense, but punishment in sight. Assassi will drop him eventually. Down to his knees, but it's still EDG in control. Backside players, B main still theirs. We've seen Sen perform miracles, but this just a little too unlikely. When EDG are setting up pop players like this, contesting, squeezing Sen for absolutely every inch of space, there is no chance in hell for them here. The map is in their hands. The palms of these EDG players, they can feel it.
I feel Joki hoga.
Going through
Joki hoga मेरे को तो.
The stress and the pressure as they get to this halftime, realizing they are on the cusp of making history for China.
History for China and breaking past their limits. It's all going to be decided on the next half of this.
बस क्या हाथ का टैटू मस्त है ना. तब तक हम कुछ बच्चे नींद देखते आ जाओ. क्या बोलते हो? गेम देखते चलो. Discord. हाँ चला ले और लगा चार्जिंग लगा पागल. उसका फोन में चला रहा. बट डिस्कॉर्ड क्यों नहीं खुल रहा?
On the brink of watching something quite special, I think, for EDG. It's a team that they turned up to international events, falling under the eye as well of some of the fans, the home crowd, though, this time is fully cheering them on. They're empowering them. I can feel it. There's a certain energy in the air right now that EDG are about to cross this boundary, this line that they've been pushed back, prevented from over and over again at prior events. This time, though, maybe Champs 2024 is the time to strike for China.
And it didn't look like this was even going to be EDG's year.
No.
Their performances at Madrid and at Shanghai in front of their own home
dismal,
crowd.
man. It was dismal.
It was really poor. And yet they made this adjustment, changed the coaching staff, brought in new blood to the team, changed their IGL structure as well. And nobody deserves tons of credit because he's calling on the attack side here on Sunset. Remarkably good for a newcomer who had only done some like mid-rounding and secondary calling in the past. Sentinels have a mountain to climb.
We've heard the phrase, one round at a time is going to have to be the case here for Sentinels. Being pushed back immediately. Signs of resistance, EDG are holding this one. Plenty of players now to try and take this contact and take these fights. Names stricken off the record with nobody leading it for his team. And they want even more. Not content with just laying claim to just a few tens. Drop down, pistol round for EDG.
What a fragger! Nobody's there. Sova, 16 kills, up at the top of the scoreboard with Jisoo, calling a beautiful game and playing 1-2. They've just driven the final nail in the coffin, surely, for Sen's chances. If there was any hope of a 10-2 comeback, it had to come off the back of the pistol round. There's going to be a force coming out here for the attacking team. But they didn't even really get that many kills. The plant money, like, this is odds and ends. A final desperate jump forwards from Sen. And EDG are going to be happy to collect.
Sentinels banking everything on this round, of course. If no other option. No room to breathe. Fault line's good though, Chichu with the cage to cover. His own cross here. Does give up access over towards B, so full side control plan going down and through the back of the sides! Oh my! Chichu, the util, just augments the hold and puts the squeeze on the Sentinels team. But listen, they've been battered and bruised before, but not quite like this. They have to barrel their own way past it with subpar weaponry and one left alive second. Miracle to ask for. Picks up the weapon, but not long again for the world in the round. A 12th is gained and granted. EDG are on the precipice.
When they woke up today, these EDG players would have dared to dream that they'd be in a spot winning this match, heading themselves to a minimum top 3 at Champions. I don't think any of them would have even imagined a stomp like this to finish. Up 12-2. They can take an eco here. They have no reason to buy up in this round. Wait for a better opportunity, try to do a bit of chip damage to Sen's economy.
Yeah.
You could even bank up a bunch of ults and just try to finish things out in one glorious moment.
No stress at all. Outlaw in the hands of Kang Kang. Slowed all the way down, and Zekin's desperate for the kill. Does hunt it down, but EDG are going to be hot on the heels of all these players. The 4-player flank.
10 by 4 backstab, 10 blind.
To pounce on any of these players. Zeltz with just the one before he's dropped, but info given up over to them. Tens now with that task challenge ahead of him. Players ready to fall here. G2 responds, returns with the fire.
Nice one.
Puts that scare one final moment there into Sentinels.
How much determination still exists within these Sen players. They look focused, they look locked in. Surely it's not manageable. 9 rounds, 9 opportunities for EDG to get a big moment from Jisoo. Nobody. A Kang Kang round coming out of nowhere. Ults online. Smokey's one away already from the Hunter's Fury. Only in round 16.
It's the reason why we call comebacks in this particular spot an impossibility. Listen, I'm no stranger to that word, but use it often. EDG with rifles in hand, well trained now onto all these spots. The Prowler It's an opportunity, but immediately defensive util. We were pointing it out. The paranoia is perfect to push back. There's pressure applied onto these EG anchoring players and still trying to take the fight up through the gut. Different directions here, still beaming him down. Simon dropped to his knees, maybe handed him over that weaponry in all tens. Collecting the kills off through the flank. Overdrive. Finds his mark. The tracking is immense. So Sentinels will be able to stay alive a little bit longer.
And the pathing is great. Sen's attack side is fantastic on Sunset. There's no denying that. No pretending that Sentinels are weak here, but they did not get to play their favored side. And they stacked up only 2 rounds on defense. That's why the comeback looks impossible. Not because Sen are bad. You can see the way that they deathball together, trade out second perfectly, and have that little fake.
Nice.
Into the Boba pressure, into the mid push. They've got good ideas here, but it only takes one.
How many times have we seen a comeback dealt with, taken away just from the hands of weaker weaponry? All the pressures on Sen, man, and it is. There's no room to breathe. There's no buffer in place for Sen.
You just let off the gas pedal for a moment, thinking you've got the eco advantage, not wanting to show a specific strat, save it for a better rifle round, save it all, and suddenly it can come crashing down. But Sen have found their way into the A site fairly early on here.
The sound cues are going to be found! My God! Kang! He's doing them dirty now. Can't quite gain a rifle, but picking apart the Sen players. The offense, the attack, the aggression is met. Tens has to answer. Will do just that.
What a 3K! Stuffed into a corner. He's all down to nobody. Look prime and ready in a 5v3 for EDG to close out. But it seems unlikely that it will be this round that takes EDG forwards. Tens, what a monster. He's just saved his team.
Yeah.
But
definition, man, of matters into your own hands.
They will need so many of those moments, and in more difficult spots than that.
It's when EDG don't have the money to put together a buy, but you can feel it how free-flowing EDG are. Eviscerating most of the players that they were trying to exit onto the site here. 1 round at a time is what Sen are going to be repeating to themselves.
And they did force out that Hunter's Fury from nobody, so they're making things marginally easier. And this one is massive.
Door's going to be teared down almost immediately. Back into a slow, cautious play by Sentinels across the map.
The one-way posted over towards A. Paranoia as backup, baiting off Kang's contact. These are the kind of things that Sen didn't really have going to help that A defense. Does it get broken by Sassy?
Bring them down.
Over the Prowler. Util used too, but it's Paranoia immediately going forward. Chichu! This is his area, this is his domain. But he is cleaned up nevertheless. Chopped up into pieces and spitting them all the way out. Nobody seeking to plug those gaps. Will go down as a result of it. 4 players still left to stand here by Sen, but chances for EDG still. Flash is good, crossing back in through main. EDG not able to catch any of them. It's the crosshair placement, but they are rapidly now getting themselves into position. Onto the site, stun is excellent. Flash though, peek immediately there. To be traded out and over, spraying them down with the rifles. Heroics and a bit of luck at play. EDG are hoping for it. Through the box now. Simon and Smokey. They can't get it done. So once again, it's Sentinels that breathe just the slightest sigh of relief.
Nice one,
and continue to survive in the series.
4 rounds in a row here collected. If they get another rifle round, you're starting to believe. But there's still tons of danger ahead of them. They still need 6 perfect rounds on their attack. And that's even just to force overtime.
Yeah.
Nice one,
They're not
guys.
out. They're not out of the woods at that point.
They got to keep it going.
EDG, though, are forced to take their tactical timeout, so they're going to look to adjust something here. Even with Zekken team stunning himself in that market split, they still managed to get the trade out onto Chishu. I think Chishu's going to want to be able to hold on to that area, but he's finding himself getting overwhelmed. EDG are playing a very standard defense to the map, very similar to other great teams here. Teams like Leviathan, for example. Heretics, you know, these kind of teams that have a great understanding of how you want to be pushing and pulling on the defense side. But Sen are still breaking through. It's not that EDG are giving them areas for free. Sen are playing with fire.
Yeah, persistent team too. I mean, they've been in spots like this. Maybe not exactly like this where they're forced to come back, but
I mean, the beginning of this year in the off-season, they actually pulled off a 10-2 comeback on their attack side on Sunset. That was like the first glimmer at the very beginning of the year that Sen were taking the off-season seriously and looking like they could win games in difficult spots.
Yeah.
That ended up culminating months later in a trophy at Madrid. They can do these kind of things, but it's not consistent, and really, it shouldn't be possible.
On a stage like this as well, when there's never been more pressure. And this is a trap play if I've ever seen one. Paranoia sweeps, stun alongside it, rattling with the Sheriff in hand, chewing up the Sentinels players. Not many options are available to you, and Celtics, he didn't have a clue. Blinded up, Spike dropped down into the laps of EDG. This is exactly what we were talking about. There is no room to breathe when there's up to 12 rounds. EDG can feel it. Spike picked back up, earns itself. Sassy, a lot to adjust and overcome. Tens is down and out. EDG, they end it all.
GG guys. Thank you for tuning in. Chalo, bye guys. Anti-sense.